naturally. So when it came to once it was very clear that there was like a decisive victor, and my perspective going into the beef was that like I was a big Drake fan and I wanted him to win, but then his
Mm.
performance was incredibly disappointing at the end of the day, and I just felt like it was important for me to be vocal about that and continue to just make content around what I found to be funny and fun, and we've been riding the wave since, branching out with different stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what people know me for. You know.
So you do hip hop content basically,
I
mainly.
I have been doing mainly hip hop content lately, but I really listen to whatever music, So
Okay.
yeah.
So you was a Drake fan before, then he lost, and then you was like, I can't be his fan no more.
All right,
So
we're
it
gonna get
wasn't
top five choice.
actually just losing the beef.
You start
I'm
already.
just like, yeah, yeah, don't
Yeah.
instigate. I'm
So
literally just
Are
asking.
you're
oh no no
you're
no no
already
no, it's
instinct.
it's a completely fair question because people ask me it every
Yeah.
day. So it wasn't losing the beef because it's like losing a rap battle to Kendrick Lamar is basically just like losing a dunk contest to LeBron in his prime, right? It's
Deep
not that
facts.
big of a deal to lose a rap battle. When I stopped being a Drake fan was it was a combination of things. One was the stuff that I learned about him throughout the beef. That wasn't Kendrick. He just kind of sparked that. There were a couple of videos, a couple of stories about Drake that I had just simply missed as a Drake
Okay.
fan. So
Yeah.
that was one part. And then the second part was the Heart Part 6 plus all the post beef shenanigans, the
Yeah.
lawsuit, the we will win game two stuff, the it's just a whole lot of chicanery afterwards. And I was like, at this point, you are making me look bad. I think that the art that we enjoy, the music that we enjoy, is like a reflection of ourselves. And it felt lame for me to continue supporting somebody that I felt was lame. That's kind of the full story in a sense.
See, on my channel, I say often, Kendrick didn't say really anything new, but you miss just as a Drake fan, you miss some of this stuff. Now, I don't think anything Kendrick said during that beef was new, other than like the daughter stuff, which we still don't know if that's true or not. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's something I repeat on my channel. And I'm a guy. I think we're opposites. Like I've never liked Drake's music, like at all.
Oh,
Even when it was
thanks.
popular to like him, like oh nine, like I used to take arrows back then. My friends used to be like, "You're hating on the guy." Like I just hating. I just don't like it. So it's just interesting. We're opposites in
That's
that.
fair.
Yeah.
All
So
right. Well,
Interesting.
you asked me, am I familiar
yeah.
with your channel? Are you familiar with mine?
No.
Okay.
And no, not at all. But I
Good.
have like a pretty dedicated community of people that keep me up to date on people that have very strong opinions
Mhm.
surrounding the beef. So naturally, your name comes up.
Okay.
And full disclosure, because it would be weird for me to just talk to you as if I know this shouldn't have happened. You had some take that I saw on Twitter about, I think it was about Kendrick Lamar like having gang members on GNX. And I didn't even know who you were. I just took the clip and I was just like, this is silly.
Okay.
That in the show, and everybody was like, "Oh, I knew that was top five Troy. I could tell by his voice. Oh, he's talking crazy." And it's like for me, it was just one segment in a show full of me laughing at silly takes. So I didn't take that clip and I was just like, "Yeah, this guy's trash now." I was just like, "Oh, some people have good takes. I thought this one wasn't good," and then I laughed about it. But it would be weird to come on here and talk to you as if I didn't know that happened. So you know,
Yeah.
just figured
Okay.
I'd give you a
We're
heads
just
up.
Well,
somewhat familiar.
I
A
mean,
lot of people thought it was a silly take.
Jen, I mean, I watched some of your content. A lot, like just like Derapy said, like I feel like a lot of us got sort of like surfaced and like connected through the rap battle. I think that was just something that really brought a lot of people to light. And I definitely saw your work. And I don't know all the details. I mean, there I obviously like just like you said, you don't watch a lot of content creators. And when we make content, we can't watch everybody's stuff, But I've seen couple, some videos. I think some of your stuff was like analytical, and I like that. If you give your opinion, you give your opinion. But why don't you say like,
Mhm.
what is your channel about? Like, and I don't know what you guys were talking about a take that I, that was referenced or something. What was that take? Did you? I mean, first tell us top five. First, let's just say this is rap philosophy. We got Derapy. Y'all in the chat say what's up. Top 5 Troy is here, and everybody seems to think and I guess we'll find out that your takes are crazy. So I guess we're gonna find out what your takes are. We all
I'm
don't.
excited. Yeah.
So first just top five. What's your top five, Troy? Tell us a little bit about your channel, and then we'll get into like our first topic.
Top5rapwebsite.com. You already know what's going on. So I used to be known as Top 5 Rap Website. But then the company, man, he tried to shout me out for one of the videos I did on Ricky Dread, which is I just came from Ricky Dreads. He tried to shout me out, but he couldn't remember the name. Like Top 5 Rap Website, that's a whole mouthful. So he couldn't really remember. He's like, he's trying to shout me out. So then I did a poll with my audience. I was like, should I change the name? It was overwhelming. Yes. So yeah, Top 5 Troy, it's the YouTube channel. I've been doing this. YouTube, I never really wanted to be on video, you know. I kind of came
Mhm.
up during the blog era. So this is why at the end of all my videos, it's top5rapwebsite.com. That's where it all started. It started with me in high school. I was like the music guy in high school. So all my friends, they would come and they would ask me like, yo, and this was at the time where we would have a lot of albums leak. So I don't even know if it's legal to say this. I used to post a link to the leaks on my website, and I used to just cover many different artists from Tyler the Creator to Kendrick back in 2010, Dom Kennedy, Nipsey, just a bunch of West Coast artists coming out. So many people would ask me, like, if you could read my yearbook and what people wrote, I'm just like the music guy. So many people would ask me on a daily basis what's new. So I was like, I'm gonna just create a website, a WordPress, and
Mm-hmm.
just put the stuff on there so I can refer them. So it kind of built over the years. Like I never wanted to be on video. Being
Okay.
on video was never, I never wanted to, but that's just kind of where things went over
Yeah.
time.
All right. Cool.
It kind of went from the blog era into YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So now we do YouTube. Majority of my channel is album reviews, like the vast majority. It's kind of switched into more just analyzing topics and breaking down songs. But I got like 800 videos. I would say like 600 are
Wow.
just album reviews. So that's what I do.
That's cool. That's good. All right, listen. Let's get to our first. Let's get right into it. Now, I was asking you about the take. Someone in the chat mentioned the take. I want to hold on the take, and let's get started on like first of all, just obviously the first topic, and time willing get to others like Kendrick, right? It's like Kendrick, this whole idea of him, people calling him a hypocrite. And I don't know if you had a take about this. I mean, Derapy, same. I don't know if you already. I know this topic has been kind of covered, but I wanted to resurface this. Like, okay, is Kendrick a hypocrite, as people are saying, for working with Cardi? And maybe Derapy, let's start with you.
Okay. I was actually going to recommend that. Well, yeah, it's fine.
Top
Whatever.
five choice start.
I can
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Please,
Start.
please go ahead.
You know,
Because
I love yapping. So, you know, I'm never not going yap.
Wait, you got the biggest yapper right here, which is Derapy. So go.
before you came on here, I was talking about how I'm the biggest yapper. So I respect the approach. Please, by all means, go ahead.
Is it you're asking is Kendrick a hypocrite for working with Playboy Cardi?
Yeah, as people are. Yep.
He's a hypocrite for other reasons. I mean, it's in his music. He says it himself. So I don't think it's a I have a very short take. I don't think it's a controversial opinion to say he's a hypocrite for working with Cardi. I think he's a well, I'm sure we get to the topic. I think he's a hypocrite for the type of features that he had on GNX. My opinion, I've stated this many times on this, but that's my opinion. That's it.
Wait. All right. Let's get Derapy. Let you go. I want to get back to that before Derapy. What's your
Sure.
opinion
Yeah.
first?
So when it comes to Kendrick being a hypocrite, it's just funny even saying it because it feels like I spent, I mean, hours and hours and hours listening to people talk about it and go back and forth about it, and I'm just like, sure, but also like, what are you gonna do about it? Like I think that a lot of times there are certain things that can be black and white. For example, if you have a problem in your like personal relationship, with a romantic partner, you have like a black and white conversation with yourself all the time. This person's doing something I don't like, and you have to ask yourself, if they don't change that, is this worth ending the relationship over? If the answer is no, then maybe try and get over it, honestly. I mean, and when it comes to Kendrick Lamar and this hypocrite conversation, it's like, okay, if you think Kendrick Lamar is a hypocrite, cool, whatever. Are you going to keep listening to the music? If the answer is yes, then who cares? Like, what are we even talking about? Like, if you aren't angry enough about something to stop supporting them, to stop listening to them, then who cares? This whole
Hmm.
like, can he be criticized thing? Is it worth criticizing him? Shouldn't we be holding him accountable? Like, as if we can hold Kendrick Lamar accountable. Like, as if he's going to watch anybody here's YouTube video and be like, you know what? That guy makes a good point. I need to stop being such a hypocrite. Like, with all due respect, like Kendrick doesn't give a fuck how the needle drop feels or how Derapy feels or how Top 5 Troy feels. Like if Whitney's in his ear, like, honey, you're being a hypocrite. Like that's obviously going to carry way more weight than anything anybody on the internet is saying. So I'm not going to say that the outrage is fake, but I do think it's silly. And if anybody's like, oh, he's just being hyperbolic about the outrage, it's like even people that are like moderately annoyed by it, I would ask, how much do you even know about rap music? Don't you know that all these people are talking about the crimes they've committed or continue to commit all the time? I just think it's like a weird place to draw the line. So that's the long answer. The short answer is sure, but who cares?
Hmm. Um, my
And
take
I,
is,
okay, go ahead.
I'll
Mhm.
I'll try to keep it. Then we'll get back to your take. I don't. I feel like I've said this before, and I feel like maybe people will know my opinion. I don't think he's a hypocrite. I know you said like he's a hypocrite from his music, but I feel like those are two different like hypocrites. I mean, from the sense of how people are describing him as someone who he's like backpedaling on his word, or he's supposed to be this moral person, and now he's working with Playboy Cardi. And I think my take is first. I guess firstly, like just by saying that, what does that say about Playboy Cardi? Like is he like some bum of like I don't know. Like even just asking that question to me, I don't know nothing about Playboy Cardi, but just asking that question to me is like assuming that Playboy Cardi is this like animal or something. Maybe he is. I have no idea, but it's already assuming he's some horrible person. That's one issue I
It's
have.
fair to not know, but then
Hmm.
once you know, then I think it's important to have some level of stance on it. Let's say, um, allegedly, reportedly, Top 5 Troy can chime in if he's heard this also. Playboy Cardi choked a pregnant woman.
Oh, so
Now, if
okay.
that's something that is jarring and terrible, and you think that Kendrick Lamar would not approve of something like that, then I think it's entirely fair to be like, it's kind of hypocritical to say that you care about women and then you collaborate and support somebody that has done this terrible thing. I would contend that obviously choking pregnant women is bad. I think all three of us would agree on that. My argument for continuing to listen to Kendrick Lamar's music is simply that he's also made songs with people that I'm just confident have completely snatched somebody's soul. So I'm just not going to allow myself to get upset about something when these things happen all the time, with all due respect. I mean, it's just a terrible thing that Playboy Cardi is doing. But we're talking about Kendrick as if he is like, yeah, cheating women is actually cool. Therefore, I'm going to support him. Like, that's not the case. He just featured on a rap song. He
What's
featured
this
on a rap song.
therapy? Do you have this like? Is that reported? What's the source on that? Playboy Cardi did that. And I have no idea. I'm not even
It's like widely reported. I mean,
okay.
I could pull up Playboy, I could Google Playboy Cardi choking, and there's going to be an article that says Playboy Cardi
All right,
choke, and
gotcha. Yeah.
it'll be pretty clear.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, give me one moment. But yeah, that's my take for the
All
record.
right. Could go ahead, Top 5 Troy. You were saying what were you going to get back to that point?
I was just going to say, I don't think it's facetious to complain or to critique something that you consume as a consumer, a product you consume. I don't think it's facetious or bad in any way to critique something, but your critique means you have to stop supporting it. Like, does anyone game here? We have any gamers here? Is
Yeah.
anyone a gamer?
Semi.
So, semi, okay. So I can critique the new Assassin's Creed Shadows or the new Dragon Age Veilguard. Like I don't like these dialogue options. I don't like the combat systems. But there's a place for critique. Um, and just because you're critical of it doesn't mean it should be like, well, just stop supporting it. If you're not going to do anything or boycott this, just don't say anything. So, like I said, my channel is mostly majority album reviews. It's been a lot different the past 9, 10 months because that's just the way things worked out.
Hmm.
But if I'm reviewing an album, let's say like GNX, because we're on the topic of Kendrick,
Hmm.
the entire review is more than likely just not going to be straight positives. So I can hear a song or an album and say, well, I like the bass line of this song and I like how Kendrick sets up the punchline. And he sets up these punchlines like this before. Like this is something he does. He sets up punchlines like this, but I actually don't like this feature. And like this is an odd way that this guy is talking on this song. That's new. And I can make off of one song 4 or 5 different videos about this one song. And if I make, let's say, 5 videos, 3 may be positive, like the production on the song, Hey Now, hey, the rhyme scheme, the cadence, the Bay Area influence, the jerk, the kick, the sneak influence on this song. But then some other video that I make about this same song that I may have said something positive, say something positively about, may be perceived as negative. I don't really like this feature. Let's look into what this guy's doing. So I think there's room for critiques and criticism everywhere as consumers. I mean, we're allowed that. At the end of the day, these artists and even like these just corporations in general, they're really only accountable to the shareholder and the consumer. They're more accountable to the shareholder because that's who's funding them, but they're accountable to the consumer because without us, there is no shareholder. Like we provide the value in our earning dollar. So I don't think it's productive to just be like, if you have an issue with it, just stop listening to it. Or like, sure, we aren't going to do anything about it. I'm not going to stop listening to Kendrick because I don't like some of his choices in songs or choices in some of his bars, but I just don't like so. It's just a preference. And the Playboy Cardi thing, yeah, Derapy is completely right. There's like allegations, but there's also like Ruby Rose has gone on Vlad TV. She's talked about how he shot guns at her. She went on Vlad TV, same interview, and talked about how so many rappers slept with her when she was underage. She was like a teenager. And like she names rappers, but Vlad kind of cuts her off. So Playboy Cardi, Travis Scott, these were some of the names named in that interview before she could really get on to putting the accusations on him. So that's why some people will be conflicted. Obviously, what happened in the Kendrick and Drake beef, and now you got this guy. See, I don't really care too much about the Playboy Cardi thing as much. My main issues with the Kendrick part was his features on the GNX album. And that's where I point out, I have a video called Is Kendrick Lamar Hypocrite? And that's where my criticism was.
All right. So, Derapy, have you heard about that? The further information Top5Troy was talking about Playboy Cardi at all? Like I've never even heard about that with Vlad and.
I mean, I just think that, and also to just quickly respond to Top5Troy's point, because I don't think he might or might not have been talking directly about my opinion on criticizing and listening to or not listening to music.
Yeah.
You can criticize the artist. I mean, free speech, First Amendment, YouTube channel, monetization, AdSense. It makes sense to criticize the artist. I think that expecting anybody that's expecting anything to change based off of their criticism, I think would be a little bit dishonest. Like I know that no matter how quote unquote viral one of my videos goes, like one of my most popular videos is the Heart Part 6 is Unforgivable, for example, where I just talk about how this Drake song is probably the worst shit ever, right? Now, that has like 300,000 views. I don't know, right? I don't expect Drake to see it. I don't expect that video to affect him in any way. It might affect 100,000 people, 200,000 people, but at the end of the day, still got all these monthly listeners. He's still got tens of millions of dollars. People are still going to listen to Drake. So when I say, yeah, he's a hypocrite, but so what? I'm not saying that, you should either stop listening to the music or shut up about it. I think that we should, myself and Top5Troy continue to talk about this content, regardless of the impact that we think it's going to make. But yeah, if you would like, we can move on to the Top5Troy's take on the features on GNX, because I'm legitimately curious about it, because all I did, like, and I want to be transparent about this, because if somebody did this to me and didn't ask for greater context, it would annoy me. I pulled what was probably anywhere between like a 15 to 45-second clip.
Derapy, sorry to cut you off. Because
yeah.
I feel like y'all talking about something maybe a lot, even me, I don't even know, and probably like the people in the chat. If you don't mind, I know we spoke a little bit about it prior. like maybe just open this up about what you're referring to. Like you said, you did a
Yeah,
clip.
yeah, yeah. That's
Like
that's
get the
that's 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 what
context.
I'm about to do. So I do this weekly show segment, and it's called Wing Wong Wednesday. Funny, silly series of words I put together to describe people that are just being silly, have bad takes, have exhibited unsavory behavior. Right? People send me clips, I find them myself, and then I just kind of rapid fire 5, 10, 12, 15 things in a 20-minute period. And I say, this is silly, wing wong, wing wong, wing wong. It's a joke, right? Now, I came across Top5Troy, a clip of him talking about Kendrick Lamar having gang members on GNX and how he felt. And I don't want to put words in your mouth here. You can tell me if I'm wrong, I'm mischaracterizing it. Disappointed, um, not good, didn't like it. And I, in the moment, found that to be silly. I was like, oh, it was kind of a silly thing to be upset about. Laughed at it, cracked a few jokes. Don't remember exactly what they were, but it wasn't anything like this guy's stupid and he shouldn't have a platform. Or it was more of just like, it's kind of a funny thing to complain about. So I wanted to open the floor up to Top5Troy. Not trying to take over your show or anything, Rap Velocity, but
This seems to
if
be
you want to
really
expand on anything, I'd love
important.
to hear
Taking
it.
over.
I don't know.
Taking over.
This seems to be really important. Something must have been, bro. I have no idea what's happening. All I know is apparently
It's
top
really
five.
not that big of a deal, is
All
what I'm
right,
saying. I'd just like to hear him talk more about it.
go ahead. Go ahead. Top,
Sure.
you got the floor. Top five. Sure, go. So whatever.
Sure.
This,
So before I get to this, could I just go back to your point you were making about your heart part six? So you're saying you're not. I would say I'm not expecting things to change when I criticize a part of a Kendrick song.
Mhm.
Like it's a review. Like when we review things, let's say
Right, of course.
who's the guy that reviews restaurants in his car? Is it Keith Lee? If he
Yeah,
says
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like he doesn't like certain parts, just his preference, I don't think he's expecting things to change. So I would ask Derapy,
He definitely does. That shit is very actively affecting people. I'm not gonna hold you.
well, it
Like
affects
Keith Lee's
it
that
affects
does
people, but if he says
immediately, actually.
I'm not saying it doesn't affect people. I'm saying if he
Mhm.
says the chicken is dry at a certain
Right.
restaurant, does that mean he's expecting things to change there? Like, I don't know. But I would ask you, what is the difference between me critiquing a Kendrick song and you critiquing the Heart Part Six? Does the same logic not apply to you? Like, why are you critiquing this? Are you expecting something to change? Does that same logic that you
Oh
apply?
no, no, I'm just doing it because it's funny and it's fun. And you might do your content because, it's funny and
Yeah,
fun to you. That's fine.
yeah.
And if somebody were to take a 30-second clip from my show and laugh at me over it, I wouldn't care because I'd be like, oh well, it's the internet, dog. What do you expect?
Yeah. So as far as so we can move on. I just wanted to get that in there. But I guess the clip that you saw is
Hmm.
it was a part of a larger video, maybe a 15-minute video called The Last Great Moment in Hip Hop. That's where this is from. And in
Okay.
that video, I talk about how like the West Coast rap is really not in a good place for the future. East Coast rap is really not in a great place for the future because we don't have a lot of young up and coming artists. And the point that I made was Kendrick was essentially, I wasn't, he was put on, like he was given a throne on stage by a group of his elders and passed the baton to. And I was saying I would have liked for the features on GNX, again, just a preference. I would have preferred artists of Kendrick's ilk musically, i.e., album artists, to have gotten that opportunity. And one of the so I don't know why people took, you weren't the only way, Derapy. Like, again, I don't know if people are just like trying to get like these gotcha moments or if they're like
Uh,
purposefully,
Being intentionally obtuse about your
I don't
point.
know
I
if
got you.
people, and I said this in a recent video, because like a lot of people talk about my videos. I said this in a recent video. I don't know if people are like purposely misleading their audience to just get laughs off, but it's
Hmm.
the point of the video was we don't. I would have liked more album artists to have gotten type artists to have gotten that opportunity. And one of the artists that I name is West Side Boogie. So anyone,
Okay.
and that's even in the clip that people clipped and put out. So anyone who
Hmm.
knows anything about West Side Boogie, it's right there in his name. He's from the West Side. He's a gang member. And I
but
start
what is
naming these
it?
other rappers.
Okay, but what does it
And I,
like? Go ahead. I don't want
huh?
to interrupt you. I was just gonna say,
No,
what
go ahead.
does it matter that like who? I'm not following. Like, what exactly? So what's what's the idea? Like you thought he could have given it to someone specific, and he didn't give it to someone specific. Like what exactly is the criticism?
Here's the criticism. It's not that the criticism is the content of what those features are rapping about. When you hear Peso and Young Threat on the GNX title track,
Hmm.
they're rapping just about murdering people. And again, for people maybe who don't live out here or don't live in these type of neighborhoods,
Hmm.
it's water under the bridge. Why would you care? When you listen
Yeah.
to Hey Now, you listen to Dodie Six on Hey Now, and what he's rapping about, it's the same stuff. Hit a J3 on GNX, the same stuff. AZ Chike is kind of the same stuff. I'm FaceTiming my op. In LA, I'm FaceTiming my op. I'm up the street. Again, if you're not culturally tapped into this specific type of thing, who cares? But in LA, we just saw a dude get killed on FaceTime. So it's kind of like harkening back to those things. And
So
for
did you
and for
dislike
me,
Peekaboo because of the lyrics or the
and,
features? I'm just trying to understand the criticism.
and here it is. I'm saying it.
Okay.
And
All
for
right.
me, preferentially, these are I would just rather not hear this type of lyrics on Kendrick album. It's something I'm not accustomed to. And I make the
Mhm.
if any gamers in the chat, I make the parallel to Dragon Age Veilguard. It's the fourth game of the Dragon Age series. People criticize Dragon Age Veilguard because the dialogue options, like it's a different tone than the first three Dragon Ages. Technically, is it a good game? Is it a great game? Yes, but it's preferentially not what you want out of Dragon Age. That's how I'm paralleling it to Kendrick. So the whole video, like people took the video and they clipped it and twisted it to
Mhm.
I don't know how you watch anyone watches that and think Troy doesn't want gang members on GNX. When I named examples of people who could have been on there, like Ralphie the Plug, like Greedo, like West Side Boogie, who are all from gangs. So the criticism was I would have liked these features on GNX, to your point, rap philosophy,
Hmm.
to have gone to artists more of Kendrick's ilk, album artists, or at the very least, artists who are going to fit better within the grander context of Kendrick's music. Because you're not going to listen to Kendrick's music and hear about just murder glorified. You listen to GNX, you do hear that. That's
You
it.
okay, so I just want to make sure that like I'm understanding like in a like a succinct way.
Mhm.
The problem isn't with having gang members on GNX. The problem is that you wanted different people
Yeah, like
talking about different things, not
that's what I'm.
talking about murder in like a funny, silly way. Because
Right.
that's what you're saying.
Exactly. It will be silly for me to say I don't want gang members on a Kendrick album when Kendrick's earlier albums have J Rock, Schoolboy Q, Ab-Soul, who are
So
all
then,
from where they're from.
top five Troy. What is it? Because like, I mean, it's not like as if Kendrick didn't rap about any of that stuff in the past either, and he comes from that lifestyle in some type of way. So I'm not really like you're saying you didn't want him to talk about, I guess like killings or stuff like that, and then but like it was spoken about in GNX.
You said Kendrick has rapped about murdering people in
No,
the
I've been saying
past?
that's what you were saying. Like there was some
Yes, I
lyrics
mean
about.
he has, but
Oh, in the
yeah.
past, yeah. I mean, like, not him himself. I mean, as far as I know, but I
Oh,
mean,
well,
he's
Derapy said
mentioned
he has. Let's hear
story.
what Derapy has to say.
He's
Has Kendrick rapped about people getting yeah, that's like
About Kendrick murdering people.
Kendrick doesn't strike me as the type of guy that would go on a track and be like, I killed somebody. But, sorry in advance, rap philosophy. Your video's cooked. It's not sustainable for ads. But
yeah, we messed up. We messed up.
but but Kendrick had like he has a lyric where he's like, "Would you believe me if I said I killed two niggas?" Like he's alluded to the fact that he could, or he has, or maybe he did, or maybe he didn't. Obviously, you're not going to incriminate himself on a rap song. But I think what the rap philosophy might be trying to get to is that it sounds to me that you don't like the tone that's being used when talking about the ending of life in the LA area. Like you don't find Peekaboo fun, is what you're saying. You don't like how they're talking about FaceTiming the ops and putting 10 on their face. Like you're not amused is what I'm gathering.
Yeah, it's just very simple. It's just not preferentially, it's not what I'm used to hearing on a Kendrick album, and it's not really what I want to hear. I think you could take those features. I think you could take every rap feature off of GNX, save the
Mhm.
Dodger Blue stuff, and it's the same thing. I don't think they add anything, and I just think, and again, this was said in a larger context of where is West Coast rap headed. I don't think any of these rap features.
Hmm.
And next, I'm not talking about Scissor or Wally the Sensei or
Yeah,
Roddy
yeah,
Rich.
I got you.
None of these guys, and I'd be happy to be wrong, are going to do anything in the
You
future.
think they're not like really about that life anymore? You don't think?
I think music is not their main focus. And I would have liked the features. It's very simple. I would just like the features to go
You
into
just want a different feature.
artists like Kendrick. I would have liked the
Mm.
features to go into artists like him who do have music for it. The
So
same way he was passed the torch, I thought that would have been a great opportunity on
Okay. I
GNX.
remember I remember why I thought the take was silly. And it's not like because obviously this goes without saying, people say it so much it doesn't even feel like real words anymore. Obviously, you're entitled to your opinion. I think that like my silly little out of context take was like this guy is upset that Kendrick didn't have the people on the album that he wanted on the album. They're not talking about the things that he wanted them to talk about. And I think that I personally in the moment found it funny, but I also didn't have the context. I didn't know where you were from. I didn't know what your experience was. I didn't know why you expected what you expected. So it makes more sense why you personally would not appreciate the tone that they're rapping with, them making light of the serious thing. Like I can recognize that. I was my kind of funny funny angle I was taking was just like, this guy would have more or less like Kendrick to hit him up to know who
yeah,
he should have on the album to push the West Coast forward. Because the idea that Kendrick shouldn't just have who he wants to put on the album, but he should take it upon himself to decide, who's going to be the best to spread like a better message, one that you or people like you might appreciate more. I found that idea to be silly. Hearing you elaborate on it more, I find it less silly, but not entirely unsilly, with all due respect.
yeah,
I just think that and this is my last point on this. It's just
yeah.
like I understand expecting certain people or wanting certain people, and I understand having that opinion. I was just like, this. It struck me as another person that has certain expectations of Kendrick Lamar, and then when Kendrick Lamar like lets them down personally, they're like, man, I just expected him to do better, which is it's a totally fine opinion to have. Um, I just found it silly on that day.
It's
So,
not really that I'm expecting certain people. It's just literally just a preference. I would have liked
yeah.
Yeah.
better features.
Well,
And even like the features really didn't even really make sense to me. It literally, again, all this is just preference.
yeah.
Mhm.
There are hotter rappers in LA than like Hit a J3, Peso, Young Threat, Dodie. There are rappers that are hotter who could have still rapped about street stuff. To me, just the features didn't make sense.
All
Yeah.
right, but
Like
let
it kind of seemed like more like favors as opposed to something that was
But
chosen.
I think that's good
that's fine.
though.
Yeah,
Like
who
it's
cares?
easy to
So
have
what?
the hot artists on. I
Yeah,
think that in my opinion, I find it more admirable that these dudes that you wouldn't expect that you think shouldn't be there get to be there. And it's the same reason why, even though I don't know how you felt about Kodak Black being on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. I didn't like it. I think he
I didn't like it
sucks.
either.
I think it was a
Yeah,
bad.
I
Yeah,
agree.
we agree on that.
Yeah.
But I also understand it's like, I mean, he's the artist. It's his
I
album.
didn't
He
mind it. By the
clearly has a
way,
personal relationship with it. No, nobody seems to like it. But like, I just, it's kind of just me being like, I trust the artist. It's kind of like how Top 5 Troy, you probably have people guest on your show at some point. Like
No.
no, you don't. Okay, that's fine. Well, like I've had guests on my show before, and I'll have guests on my show in the future. And it would be like if somebody was to critique who I choose to have on my show, I'd be like, the only counter argument I need is it's my show, you know?
yeah.
So that's kind of where I would more or less leave it, if that makes sense.
But you understand as a consumer,
Right.
they are going to have their opinion. And that's
Oh,
just
of
me.
course, of
Yeah.
course, of
No,
course.
that makes
Absolutely,
sense.
absolutely.
Let me jump
I
in
respect it.
with my take, at least on this topic, because I want to tie this back into. I think really we're veering a little bit off topic because it's really like, is Kendrick a hypocrite over working with Cardi, right? And we are kind of digging into like the story, and stuff. But
Mhm.
you are entitled to have your opinion, of course. But the point is, right? Like, is it backed on anything? Does it make sense? Could he have used another feature? Maybe. Is there someone else he could have chosen that you would have liked more? Maybe, I guess. But I would like to think that Kendrick kind of knows a little bit what he's doing. I think he's been in this game for a really long time. So I feel like, and I'm speaking for myself, Top5Troy, not like it's not like about necessarily your opinion, but I'm saying I don't want Kendrick to choose someone I want. I don't know what I want. I mean, I want Kendrick to do his music. If he figured that I'm gonna work with these guys, I'm gonna do these features, there was a reason for it. I think it obviously worked, right? Because GNX was amazing. And I think the other problem is that, and this is, I feel like what's going on a lot on the internet, there seems to be like, Kendrick has this dilemma, man, where I don't know. I personally just feel like people didn't understand Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. And that album is just really causing, or just the perception of that album is causing all of this conflict. Cause it's like, it's as if maybe the title's messing up. People are just reading Kendrick. Maybe they didn't listen to his old music. I don't know. But I feel like people are taking it like Kendrick is some gospel rapper or something. Like, Kendrick Lamar is not a gospel artist, Like, I don't know where that came from or what people were thinking. I feel like everyone's take, I could be wrong, and you'll elaborate, but I feel like everyone's take about whether Kendrick is a hypocrite is all based on this idea that, wait a second, Kendrick is supposed to be this righteous guy. He's the gospel artist. He's in the church. I'm like, is he? Like, where'd y'all get this from? So that's my
No,
take on it.
yeah, he's just not though. Yeah.
Does that make sense? So
What do
it's
you
like it's
think?
based. I don't know people's basis for the hypocrisy. I don't know what it's based on. So let's talk about that.
Well, the basis of the hypocrisy is based on Kendrick's own music.
Which
Um, if you're going to do the whole tirade against Drake and PDF files and how people like them should die verbatim and all that, and then you go work with the guy who has allegations in Playboy Cardi of doing that, it just you can understand whether you agree or not. It would be facetious to say I don't understand where this is based on, or even that Harper's Bazaar interview with SZA that Kendrick Lamar did. She asks him, "What is Not Like Us about?" And Kendrick goes, and I said this when I reacted to the interview. I was like, Kendrick, I don't know why you're responding to questions like this because it leaves like you open to continue being attacked like this. But he says,
Right.
Not Like Us is about this moral position and it's about morals and a man who has morals and stands for something. And so then when you go do something that is anti, that appears, whether it's true or not, but that appears anti to that, people are going to talk about it. That's where it comes
Mhm.
from. It comes from, I can understand the point of to steal man, what you're saying. I can understand why someone would be like, why is everyone putting these expectations on Kendrick? He's never said that. Mr. Morale, you guys aren't listening. He is not your savior. He said this over and over. But in his music and in his interviews, especially as of late, I don't find the whole hypocritical thing in Kendrick's prior music to this. As of in the beef, he put these like moral platitudes out that people are just pointing to. That's where it comes from.
Okay, I'm really glad that you brought that specific line up because I do see that's what multiple people are pointing to when he's
Which
like
line?
people like um
he's not your savior.
I think people like him should die.
Oh,
I think people like him should die. People keep saying like he I think that you saying that, this person likes him young, therefore I hate him, and then working with somebody else that allegedly like choked their partner. I feel like there's so much conflation going on, and I understand, excuse me, I understand people saying that he's standing up. I didn't watch the Harper Bazaar interview, but I read it, the quotes, and I found them to be a little bit silly too. Kendrick not really being super direct about what the song was about. They're like, "What was the song about?" Like the smart thing to do, in my opinion, would be like, listen to the song. Everything's right there. It's pretty clear. Or just say the song is about like protecting the culture of hip hop, keeping it rap, keeping it 100, being authentic. I would have respected that more. Him talking about, I would agree with you that that specific interview, those specific quotes do leave him more open to criticism. It's about standing on morals and integrity as a man. I think that simultaneously, I think that simultaneously, the he is now a hypocrite because you said that it didn't used to be like that for you, but just now in the past year because of the things that he said in the beef. I think that it's personally fair and people can disagree. He said specific things to Drake because he was in a rap battle in Drake with Drake, right? I
Mhm.
think that it is fair to separate some of those things from his overall human being because I don't know how familiar you all are with rap battles in general. I used to watch a bunch of them online. People just say crazy shit because there's just like, I'm better than you, my bitch better than you, my teeth whiter than you, I'm taller than you, I'm better than you, I get more money than you. That is the essence of rap battles, and more or less that's kind of what it's always been. So I think that I don't think it's necessarily disingenuous. It's possibly just an oversight for people to say things like, well, he says that he's better than Drake in this rap battle, and he's saying things about Drake, and that he's not standing on those things outside of the rap battle. And I just feel like people are kind of not, maybe not intentionally missing it, but I feel like that's kind of if we want to call Kendrick a hypocrite, which I don't really care that much about in a big sense,
Mhm.
that's fine. But I think that using the rap battle as a reference point kind of falls flat to me because it's a rap battle. You know what I mean? Like Kendrick, of course, he's supposed to say that he's better
Mhm.
than Drake because they're in a rap battle. He's not going to come out and be like, "I'm a very flawed person and I've made lots of mistakes in my life." Like it's a rap battle. So I think that referencing specific points there aren't the best argument, but I do understand when you reference the Harper Bazaar, like I totally agree with you there. So
Yeah, I can agree with most of what you said. I don't think just because it's a rap battle that there's a difference between Kendrick saying, "Yo, I'm better than Drake" in a rap battle, and
mhm.
then saying like, "Yo, you're a PDF, you should die," and then going to work with someone who may or may not have allegations about that very same thing. I think, even though
Wait, does, does
even
Yeah,
does
though
he
Playboy Cardi have
yeah, he
allegations about
doesn't.
him with underage
You
people?
keep hinting that.
again there's a Vlad TV interview on with Ruby Rose.
Okay.
Okay,
Ruby Rose speaks about Playboy Cardi. She speaks about how he shot at her, and she goes into how many rap. She only names specific rappers in this interview.
like with a gun,
Yeah, with a gun.
he
Yeah,
showed. Okay, all right,
that's
gotcha.
Okay.
this is Ruby Rose. So
Okay,
so
okay, gotcha.
yeah, shot at her. Like
He's
I mean, I
she
guess
mentioned.
shot. No, like shot at her. So, anyways, goes into. She only names specific rappers in this interview, and this is why I
Okay,
say there are allegations. She talks about later in the interview how so many rappers have slept with
But
her
just keep it
when
like
she was underage.
somewhat clean, yeah. Good.
okay.
She was
But I get you.
underage.
I get you. Yeah.
Am
And
I? Did I say a bad
I
word?
really, I don't know for the. But, no, you didn't. No, I just mean the
I'll
allegations
try
that's
to. Yeah, I'll try to. Yeah,
around the PDF stuff. I'll just be careful.
yeah. So she talks about that, and she only names specific rappers. Then Vlad stops her short of actually naming rappers, but
Did
you got
she
to watch the
mention
interview.
Cardi?
Yeah, she only names specific rappers in this interview: Travis Scott, Playboy Cardi,
Yeah.
and a couple others. And
Okay.
then she speaks about, oh yeah, I used to mess with rap. She speaks how she used to mess with them, and then she speaks about, yeah, I've messed with rappers when I was younger, and they act like it was all cool.
Yeah, but that's
So
also
all this
here.
stuff is
That's hearsay though too. Like you know what I mean. I'm not saying she doesn't have. It's not true, but so if we go back to the battle, if we want to pick the battle, right? So like you can't. I mean,
hearsay.
we
I
don't
mean,
know if that's true. Like I get someone
no,
could
we
say
don't. We
any.
don't.
We don't. So like, why are we? But the difference is when Kendrick said
I think the
about
allegations towards Drake are a little more concrete. Like when
right. That's what I
Kendrick
was about.
says, "Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young," and then works with Playboy Cardi. If we're working like with that very specific allegation, which it sounds like you are, Drake literally kissed a 17-year-old on the mouth
Right. So
on
hit that
video.
point.
So
Baka got a weird
this
case.
Ruby Rose saying that this thing happened, they're just they're just
Yeah.
words to me. And
Agreed.
also, let's say that can we also
So
posit the
we believe
theory
all
that
women, or no?
What? What?
I mean I just haven't watched the interview, so I'm just not going to be like I believe her. He's like that's
Yeah.
just not what
No,
I do.
it's not.
So Kendrick, is it his responsibility to be aware of, dude, I've been getting paid to talk about Kendrick for months and I didn't even know the shit that you just brought up. So is it fair for Kendrick to maybe not know that this interview with Ruby Rose exists and hold him accountable for that thing that she said that one time? Is that like a reasonable expectation to have of Kendrick Lamar before he chooses to feature on some rap song? Serious question. Should he know?
Well, again, I'm not here to defend what Drake did and juxtapose it with what Playboy Cardi did.
Uh-huh.
I'm answering Rap Philosophy's original question is why does these hypocrite allegations exist to begin with? So like I
Okay,
was
gotcha.
saying with Derapy, I would actually agree with most of what you were saying, but
Hmm.
but to me, I I'm not going to pretend like when someone has these criticisms of Kendrick, and again, I've been listening to Kendrick for right. It's been some a decade plus. Like my first time listening to Kendrick was the Kendrick Lamar EP. But I'm not gonna
Gotcha.
pretend like when someone has a criticism of Kendrick that it's not a valid. I'm not gonna pretend like I don't know where it's coming from.
But is it your
When,
Yeah, I hear
criticism?
you.
Top five
when
Troy?
everything is already out there.
Is this, are you just for the sake of it, or is this your actual criticism, like, of him, and you believe in this critique? Like, this is your analysis, or it's something you
Which
heard?
one are you talking about specifically?
What you mentioned about all these things about Kendrick being a hypocrite because he's working with Cardi. Is this something you heard and you're just saying that,
No.
hey,
I was
we should?
answering your question as to why because you asked why do these accusations exist to begin with? I was just putting out there what exists there. It exists
Okay,
because
gotcha.
Kendrick,
Yeah,
like he has came out and said these certain things,
right.
which even though I agree with what Derapy was saying, even though I am more on that side, I can still understand why someone would levy those accusations,
Okay.
those criticisms.
But
Right.
let me go into that a little bit more, though, as to why I still think that's not really a correct or reflective, because part of what Derapy was saying was that the criticisms that Kendrick brought about Drake were things that were there and everyone saw and with their own eyes. I think they were factual. I mean, not all of them. I mean, I guess we have to decide which phrases are we're talking about. But him
Yeah,
playing
I
with
think it's really important to be specific about this stuff
well,
because, people will,
him playing with
uh,
the PDF stuff, right? You saw Drake. I'm not, I'm not calling Drake that. And I've said this in my chat before. People, even my own fans, got on me. I said I think he was being hyperbolic. The way the losses are hyperbolic, and he was using hyperbole. I think he was playing around with. He was doing rap battle stuff. I don't necessarily think that of Drake personally. If people think that's fine, but what
yeah,
I'm
I
saying is
also don't think that Kendrick literally wants Drake dead. Like, I feel like people are kind of
that.
talking as if
But,
he's like, I want him dead. Like, I don't think he
yeah,
actually means that, but that's just my opinion.
but let me
I
get
don't know.
back
I
to
could be
that
wrong.
point that, like, what he, just from an artistic or poetic, right, thing, right? He brought out something people saw. So you saw Drake do that, boom, I mentioned it. You saw Baca got a weird case. That's your boy.
That's true.
Now flipping this back to what you were saying, right? Saying, yeah, but now let's flip it on Kendrick and let's critique him because he's not flawed. But the only thing y'all are saying, not you necessarily, the only people that critique is saying that, well, Ruby Rose in a Vlad TV interview, she said she messed with Cardi when she was whatever. So it's Kendrick's fault. Like, what? I mean, those are just, I feel like
It's speculative.
it's speculation. So it's not fair to say. Do you see what I'm saying as to why to me, that's the hypocrisy that they're comparing is different. If you just want to go like just down to the line. Now you may agree, like I'm just saying, you might agree that you personally I just think that that's weird. And I think he should have stayed away from it. I'd accept that. I would say if you just think it's weird and he should have stayed away from it, and I don't really have no basis, fine. But the basis being that on a Vlad interview, Cardi was accused of something by a random person. I'm not saying I don't believe her. That's for the law to decide. I'm not, I got nothing to do with that, right? But there's nothing there for people to see. Then it's not I don't think it's a one-to-one, critique.
Yeah, I'm not defending it as a one-to-one critique. I'm not even saying that these things that she's saying are true. I'm just answering your question as to why the hypocrisy accusations
Gotcha.
exist to begin with.
Well, what do
Again,
you think?
I'm more agreeing with you guys on this.
Okay, all right, fair.
You said what?
Fair enough. I was gonna say, well, what's
delay.
your personal opinion, right? Like, I'll say what you top five choice, your personal opinion. Is he a hypocrite? And why? Not what's being said. I know what's being. Thank you for mentioning.
I said from the jump. Yeah, he's a hypocrite. He's a hypocrite.
So you are saying that. So it's your opinion, right? That's
yeah.
That's okay.
We're all hypocrites in some way, and Kendrick says it. He would agree. I'm the biggest hypocrite of 2015.
Yeah,
and 2025.
And there's the other side, right? So let's say I don't think he's a listen. I'll be honest with you, and I've said this in my videos.
I'm a hypocrite,
and we all are. And I've said in my videos that when I heard Kendrick. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big Kendrick fan. When I heard Kendrick on the Playboy Cardi album, I was confused by it. I'm not gonna say I didn't like it or I fully loved it, but I was a little taken aback. That's the truth. Um, I said I don't think he really needed to be on a Cardi album, and I don't think Cardi needed Kendrick to be on that album. I think they have two different fan bases. I don't really think it would have mattered either way for either fan base. But you know, I said, okay, he decided to do it. That's fine. I don't see him as a hypocrite, and the reason why I don't see him as a hypocrite is because while I was shocked, but he's given features to many people. He's given features to all these people, like in the past that you might, The Game, the Future, Lil Wayne. There's a million people he's given features to that who knows what, like they don't match him one to one, like
That
they're
are
not
unsavory characters,
quote
obviously.
unquote. Yeah,
Like most rappers, most mainstream rappers, the rappers that everybody love, like, can we be real? Like, a lot of them just do and say and rap about like terrible shit. Like, my reaction to Kendrick being on Cardi's album was just like, cool. Like it moved me no way. I was just like, oh, Kendrick's featuring on a Cardi album? Cool. Like I think if I'm being all the way real and Top 5 Troy, I'm very curious to hear what you think about this. I think that the Kendrick hypocrite stuff, I have never seen it as loud as right now, and I know that Kendrick is kind of hotter than he's ever been. But I think that a lot of the Kendrick is a hypocrite stuff is coming from, like, we know who it's coming from. It's coming from people that are upset that Drake lost the battle, and it's coming from people like that are fans of big channels like TheNeedleDrop. It's kind of ironic how I was saying earlier how like no YouTuber is really going to make that big of an impact. Yes, TheNeedleDrop, very, very much. Was so passionate about this specifically that he made not one, not two videos about it, but then also went on Culture United and argued with people about how big of a hypocrite Kendrick Lamar was. And I think that that is new because Kendrick has been doing whack shit all throughout his career. Not only have we seen it, but he's also rapped about it. And I think that the reason why the outcry is so large right now is because there are so many people that were on the other end of this losing battle, and they are like, "Oh, we got him, we got him." Oh, the needle drop says he's a hypocrite. Oh, wow! And there are people on Twitter that are engagement farming. I just think that
Mm.
I'm not saying that the criticism isn't valid. I'm just saying that the reason why it's so loud is because people are upset that Drake lost.
I would,
And the
I would,
internet's busy music nerd said that Kendrick's a hypocrite, and we know how much he loves him. That's my theory.
I wouldn't say that the needle drop would be, and shout out to the needle drop. I wouldn't say he's on the side of, or I wouldn't imply that he's on the side of like people that are upset that Drake lost. And I think it's disingenuous to suggest that people like me, myself, and the needle drop who have given in-depth reviews of Kendrick's music and
Mhm.
positive reviews, in-depth and positive, his entire career. I've done it his entire career. I think it's disingenuous to suggest that we're just angry, like we're not levying a logical, stoic criticism.
For the record, that wasn't my take. I don't think that the needle drop is criticizing Kendrick because he wanted Drake to win. That's obviously not how I feel.
Oh,
I
okay.
think the needle drop is a very separate issue, and I just want to touch on that really quick so you can continue. The needle drop is upset with Kendrick because, ironically, the needle drop is one of those people that legitimately, like, in my personal opinion, I think thinks way too highly of Kendrick and loves his music so much and loves him so much as an artist. So he is in the nitty gritty, constantly looking at every single little thing that Kendrick does. And he sees Kendrick's actions as a reflection of him. And he personally felt let down. And he is openly not only been critical of Drake, Drake personally messaged the needle drop to tell him that he doesn't fuck with him. So when Kendrick obliterates Drake in a battle, the needle drop is over the moon. He's like, not only is this guy I'm a huge fan of making great music, but he's also destroying this person that personally insulted me and my wife. Okay. So when Kendrick does something that is hypocritical, big or small, the needle drop takes it very, very personally because he's been the loudest hype man for Kendrick. I just wanted to be clear about that.
Hmm.
His problems with Kendrick are very specific and aren't about Drake losing. Please continue. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that about needle drop. I think
Mm.
the same way that you may feel, Derapy, that people are looking too deeply into the Kendrick Lamar hypocrite stuff. I think
Hmm.
you may be looking too deeply into just simple criticisms of artists who are putting out music. Again, I really don't have, like said, starting out the conversation, I really don't have too much of an issue with the whole Cardi
Okay.
Kendrick feature thing.
Okay.
My more hypocritical allegations are more levied towards the GNX. And in my video that I've done,
Okay.
I said like I can connect the Cardi thing with the GNX thing. My issue is the same. People think it's about gang members. It's just I don't know what people are talking about. It's that these features could have gone to better artists for the health of the future of West Coast music.
Okay.
That's
I hear you.
literally the
That
criticism.
that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay. That's totally
So,
fine.
so yeah, I know it may seem like I'm defending or alleging things against Cardi. It's really not. I was just explaining
Yeah.
why people point out the hypocrisies. But I think yeah, I think the same way people feel we're looking too deep into the Kendrick hypocrisies. I think we're just criticizing music. We're looking at music, we're praising music. And I think people see these criticism as overblown or they can make it into something it's not. It's a simple criticism about an artist that I like.
Hmm.
I like to liken it to video games because a lot of people game. I can criticize the newest Assassin's Creed and still like the game and still buy the next game.
Yeah.
There's just
Well,
some things about it that I don't like.
yeah.
I think people are like extremely emotionally involved and feel the need like they're living vicariously through this situation. So I think that
Exactly. I
they
completely
feel
agree
that
with you.
yeah, they
Yeah.
feel the
You know,
need. I read someone told me that one of the content creators said the battle was spiritual for him.
I've
Spiritual.
been hearing a lot of that stuff.
I
Like
was
this,
like,
uh,
so
it's not
I
that
think
deep.
it's just
I
I don't
mean,
know.
I could I just kind of I can understand the idea. That's spiritual, but I do think it was one of the biggest things to happen in a really long time for hip hop, and I think that's a
Yeah.
reality. Like it's hard to navigate away from that. And I'll be honest, this topic does matter to me. Like some people in the chat. Well, by the way, top five choice. Some people in chat are saying I don't know for sure that it was also other people said it. I don't know if FD signified if that was his thoughts, but some people are saying I didn't see the videos that it was also his thoughts that he was a hypocrite. But it kind of doesn't matter because he says he's a hypocrite anyway. So maybe the idea of is Kendrick a hypocrite not that important, but I think it is important because the reason why I think it's important is because I think this is being used as a way to try to damage his reputation. I feel like people are kind of playing into this, and like you said, I mean, Derapy, I know it was Fantano. Shout out to Fantano. I know that was his opinion, or he had some thoughts about that, and he's a Kendrick fan too, and you too, Top Five Troy. You say you're a Kendrick fan also, but I feel like the narrative is like it's like it's kind of harming him, you know, in a way. It's meant to
Yeah,
detract from his like aura, saying, "See,
It's
like
meant to, but
I
I
hear what you're
don't
saying.
think it is, though. I just don't think it
Yeah,
is. I don't think
I
it's
hear
affecting him
I
at
hear
all.
what you're saying, rap philosophy, but I agree with Derapy. I don't think it's affecting him, but I can understand as a big Kendrick Lamar fan why you would be sensitive to like these type of see. I don't really watch too much hip hop content like outside of interviews and stuff. So when I make these type of videos, I'm not taking into account, and this is also a flaw in how I create content. I'm not hearing how the whole narrative may be shifting and moving. I'm just creating my video and going.
Mm.
So
yeah,
I
it's
can
fair."
understand though what you said, rap philosophy, how you can feel as someone who is consuming this and does feel deeply about Kendrick's music and what he stands for. I can see how you would feel that this is like trying to detract from what he's doing. I totally understand
I
that.
appreciate that, and also because I have to say, maybe I'm the only person. I do have. I feel like I'm the only person, but I do have an issue. Like if something personal about the artist comes out and it's significant, it affects me. Like art, let's say R. Kelly's music. Like I don't know how I'm older. Y'all go back for the older people in the chat. Y'all know R. Kelly's music. You know your parent. You know people knew about it. Me after everything that happened, like as I got older, I'm like, now I'm not. Other people disagreed with me. I don't feel comfortable going back, and this might be a weird take. I don't feel comfortable going back to R. Kelly's music and playing it just because, and that could be wrong
That's
because
fine.
it's just
You should
music.
feel
I,
weird.
I get it, but to me, what'd you say?
I think you should feel weird. I
I
mean,
feel
like,
weird.
not
So
yeah. I mean,
that's
like,
why
I don't listen to Drake anymore, and Drake was my favorite
same.
artist. So, like, I get
Same.
it. I know
That's
it's
why this
crazy, but
Kendrick thing.
I think that this stuff does matter. I agree. I agree that it
Exactly.
does.
That's
Yeah.
why. That's what I'm saying. To me, and I could be wrong. Top of like I said, that's why the Kendrick stuff does matter because I feel like, oh, y'all now trying to get Kendrick involved. Like he did it. Now he's all in all this kind of stuff. I feel like it's important to this to me just because the personal life. If someone is a PDF man, I don't want to be listening to that music. I don't want my children. I don't want the kids listening to it. I don't want
Of course.
to be talking about it. I want to make sure. Now, I'm not saying the person has to be this righteous gospel artist, everything perfect, but not like criminal and like crazy like that. So. And I think, like you said, Derapy, I think that was my problem with Drake. Like seeing how his antics, we all knew Drake. We all. I mean, I speak for myself. Was a fan of Drake from his upcoming. I didn't really dive that deep into what's going on, and all that kind of stuff. Well, it's just upfront. I know his music. The kids are, kids was playing, God's playing all this stuff. You hear it all around you. There's nothing that you can run away from. But as you start to get older, you pay attention to all this stuff and the antics and the optics. You're just like, man, what's going on? And just like Derapy said, you said you can't listen to Drake music. I don't know if you can or can't. Let's talk about that.
It's
Can you?
important to be specific. It's important to be specific about what we're talking about, and that's why like there are multiple points throughout this conversation where it might feel like I'm pressing top 5 Troy, you're pressing, he's pressing me, you're pressing, and it's only because we want to be specific about what we're talking about
Mhm.
because I think it's important for everybody to have a line somewhere, and it's not only important to have a line, but like when you draw it, like stand on it, like and it's okay to have your opinion change over time when you get new information, right? So people, somebody tried to get like a gotcha moment on me when I was doing a live show. And top 5 Troy, I know for a fact he wasn't trying to do this, but he asked me a genuine question when we first started. He's like, "Oh, so you didn't stop being a Drake fan until the beef?" And it's like the tone might seem inflammatory, but it's like a genuinely good question. Why did it take the beef for you to realize how corny Drake was? And the answer is really quite simple. I didn't know the extent of the corny. I didn't know the extent of the lameness until the beef happened. And I think it's okay to listen to somebody and enjoy their music. And then when you find out that they're doing something wrong or you find out that they've done something horrible, then to be like, I don't want to do that anymore. And I think it's your responsibility if you're a public figure, which we all technically are, whether we would like to be or not. I just think that you should say something and you should stand on something. Now, like I was in the car with a friend of mine I had lunch with today, and she puts on Nokia. And like, I'm not gonna be like, turn that shit. Like, I don't think it has to be that serious. But I think that if you're like me, for example, I don't know how you guys feel about Kanye West. We don't have to get into that if you don't want to. But like I drew a line and I was like, I feel crazy listening to this music, acting like I
Mm.
don't know what I know. So I blocked him on Spotify, which is where I listen to music, and I just don't
Wow,
listen to Kanye West anymore. It's
that's
hard.
big. Wow,
It's not easy. He made some of the greatest rap music ever, but
you blocked Kanye on
I
Spotify.
I
It's
block
wild.
Kanye on Spotify. I can show it to you right now. Like I cannot actively support somebody that
Fuck.
is like putting their children in danger, that is like ruining their family, that is saying that Diddy didn't do anything wrong, that is trying to put Northwest on a song with him, that's hanging out with Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate and trying to have them meet Northwest. Like if I didn't know the stuff, it would be okay for me to just pretend like, oh, I'm just listening to Kanye's music, separate the art from the artist. But when you become aware of those things, you have to look yourself in the mirror and be like, am I okay with this? Can I keep doing this? If the answer is yes, you keep doing it. If the answer is no, then Godspeed, There's just too much good music out here to, in my opinion, support like truly awful people. I'm not going to judge other people for what they choose to consume because they may not know everything about an artist. I didn't know that Playboy Cardi might have a weird case. I just learned that shit like 20 minutes ago.
Hmm.
So it's like, I'm not going to retroactively beat myself down or like accept shame because I just didn't know some shit. So that's kind of just like my stance on like consuming art from somebody that is lame or has weird allegations. It's just a matter of what you know, and it's a matter of where you draw your own personal line.
See, I don't draw these artists, these personal. I don't really get into the rappers and just musicians' personal lives. And so yeah, I still step in the name of love. some of the songs do hit different though, because it's like, who are you singing about in this song? It's sketchy, sketch. But I don't draw these. If we start eliminating artists by, like for instance, Kendrick Lamar has came out in support of R. Kelly's music being on certain streaming services. He's came out in support of it.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Hypocrite.
Yeah, I mean, this is what some people would say, but I
Yeah.
don't. I guess I don't get involved in these anyone's personal lives like that.
Mhm.
It's got too much going on in my own life, and I think if we looked at music history, just art history in general, so many artists are tortured souls. So many artists have done more morally questionable things. So I feel like if I were to start doing that, where do I
Mhm.
start drawing the line? What am I going to listen to? Am I only going to listen to music that comes from morally? And I have no issue with. I'm not saying doing this is wrong. I'm just saying my perspective. I'm
No,
going
I
to
mean,
draw
I
these
actually
moral
agree with
issues
your
on artists.
personal
Like
preference. Like, yeah.
when do I stop? And then before I listen to a new artist, do I do a deep dive into, okay, what did they say about this? What did they say about Palestine? What did they
No.
say about Sudan? Like it's like for me, that's I'm really good at compartmentalizing. I'm sure you guys have know that based off other things you've heard. My name has been mentioned in other things. I'm good at
Mhm.
compartmentalizing. So like for me, I can listen to R. Kelly still. Some songs do feel weird though. Some songs feel
I
weird.
really like actually
And even with just one more
appreciate
thing,
you saying that.
even with Drake, you didn't know these things about Drake, the whole 17-year-old thing and everything else,
Mhm,
which
mhm.
nothing was new that Kendrick presented. Even though you didn't know these things, I knew these things about Drake. And
Right.
the songs that I liked from him, I still bumped them. I still bumped them. Nice for what? 10 band.
The
I
bangers.
still
Yeah.
listen.
The
So to
bang
That's the
me,
on.
old Drake though.
I'm just not going to draw a moral line at these. It's the old Drake, but some of these accusations come from that era. Some of the stuff that Kendrick is
Well,
talking about come from that era.
I just wanna say that like I appreciate like sincerely, you know. I hit people right before I came in here, like on my Discord. Pinged everybody. I was like, y'all are not gonna believe this. I just got jumped by Top 5 Troy. I did not know this motherfucker was gonna be here. It's crazy. Cause yeah, but like
So you
I'm
didn't
so
know me. You
open.
said you didn't know. I said, are you familiar with my channel? You said you wasn't familiar. You were familiar.
No, 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 no. I want to be specific. I'm familiar with the one clip that I laughed at. And I'm familiar with what people said about you. But I'm not going to pretend to know your takes because I just don't. The reason why I preface with that is because I have a great deal of respect for like you as an individual. I don't know how much you care about that, but like people that just say, I am actively choosing not to care what these people do in their personal lives. I'm just listening to the music. I appreciate that so much because I've been on panels with people that I thought I respected way more that will just go out of their way and go in circles and loops and turn themselves all types of ways, trying to convince you that what Kanye did isn't that bad. What I would appreciate is somebody like, I can't believe I'm saying this, like Top 5 Troy, that's just like, I just don't give a fuck. I just
Nah,
don't
you're
care.
glazing now. You're glazing now, Derapy. No, no,
No, no, no, no, no, no. But like I sincerely mean this. Like, if you want to, like, the line that you draw is, I don't, I'm not getting into what they do personally. I'm a fan of music. I respect that just as much as I respect myself for saying when I find some terrible shit out about somebody, I might stop listening to the music. I truly think both positions are fair.
no.
I truly believe it is not anybody's personal responsibility to do background checks on every fucking artist they listen to. That's stupid. I think that's really dumb. So, you know, I just wanted to say that I appreciate you being honest about
I
that
guess
because
it's
some people are afraid to just say, I like the music and I don't care.
It's getting real mushy in here. It's getting real,
nah,
getting real mushy in here.
nah, stop the glazing.
I'm an honest
Let's
person.
flip the
What can I
glaze.
say?
I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like
the glazing is crazy. Can they argue about something?
I mean, if you ever like, I don't know, like if you ever like an actor, right, or like an actress, and then all of a sudden you hear a story, like, yo, did you know that so and so did such and such, like something like that, and you're just like, what? I don't know if that ever affected you, like where you heard a story, a news story about someone who kind of was like maybe I don't want to say hero, but someone you watch, and it kind of it feels it. You don't feel that way, Top 5 Troy, that it feels like weird or like strange that they're involved in something and you follow them or like them as an actor or something like that?
It definitely feels a way, but I'm not going. I think what's different for me, I'm not going into these like artists thinking that they are superior beings. This is how I think a lot of people think. They can see a painting, a beautiful painting of this artist. He painted his daughter with her dog, her little puppy, and they see the painting and it's so realistic, it's so beautiful. They think, oh, he has a great family. Like they start adding stuff. I see the painting like this is a good painting. I think a lot of people look at the painting and they start drawing
Mm,
conclusions, whether they realize it or not,
mm,
about the artist. So now when something comes out contrary, oh, this painter, he
Mm.
abuses his dog, he abuses. Now they're like, it flips a switch. For me, that flip never switches because I don't go in thinking that this is an upstanding person because they're a great painter, because they
Okay,
rap
okay, okay.
really well,
Quick question for
because
you
they
about
are a
that
great
specific point you
actor.
just made. Do you agree that exactly what you're talking about is the reason why the needle drop is upset with Kendrick? Because I think that's exactly what you just described.
No, I can't speak for him. I can't speak for
But
him.
like,
theoretically,
did you
like,
watch his videos? Do you know what his take
Yeah,
is?
I watched Neil drop. Yeah, the Kendrick
Do-
Lamar's
do-
Not Your Savior video.
yeah, yeah. Do you think it's possible that that's the reason why he's calling Kendrick a hypocrite because he's looking far past the painting into what it means and what the type of person Kendrick is?
I don't think so because I've like even before Needle Drop made that video, I made a video leveraging similar critiques, just about something different, but similar critiques. Potty Mouth went and leveraged those same critiques. Other people
Hmm.
have leveraged these critiques where they are either Drake fans, Kendrick fans, or in the middle. And I've seen too many reviews of Anthony Fantano accurately reviewing Kendrick's music and being
Hmm.
on point to accuse him of just being too far gone in this situation. So I
That's
don't
fair.
agree.
all
Well,
right.
okay. I'm just curious.
I don't. I guess we don't have to belabor that. Obviously, we have different opinion on that. I mean, I don't see Kendrick as a hypocrite in the sense that people are saying it, but I do feel like
Mhm.
if an artist is like not like that they're necessarily like immoral in their personal life or they make mistakes, but like if they are like end up being a trafficker, no. If they end up being a PDF, I'm probably gonna get affected as to how I interact with their art. I'm not saying anyone else has to. That's just my own opinion, but Kendrick doing a feature with some guy that someone doesn't like, that to me that doesn't qualify as anything. But if he does a feature with
Can I be
someone
honest
who
with y'all?
is
I have literally never heard of an artist, music artist, in my entire life being called a hypocrite until like the past month or two.
well,
Like I've never heard of that shit before. Like
that's a
top five
narrative
Troy, like
against
do you
Kendrick.
like have you heard that before? Like this artist is a hypocrite. I've never heard that shit
Did
before
they ever call
until right
Drake a
now.
hypocrite?
The,
What's
on-
up with that?
the only way that someone would leverage those type of criticisms, and we were talking about earlier, why is this seems like something recent, these criticisms? Why does it
Hmm.
seem something recent? And I kind of answered it in a
Hmm.
previous question. I said, because it's like what he said, what he's saying, what Kendrick is saying in the past 9, 10 months. Like even the
Hmm.
Watch the Party Die song, that is like him taking a moral stand
Gotcha.
against
Okay, I hear you.
killers, murderers. And then my one of my critiques was, but then you go and all your features on GNX is talking about killing people. But then you
Right.
want to watch the party die. And then
Mm.
I think even with the big U stuff that's going on, people are kind of seeing like this gang stuff is like it's not like all these guys are misunderstood souls and they just need no, it's really some other stuff that Kendrick has never in his old music has never been for. He's spoken out against it. He's talked about how like the gangs is kind of a nuisance on his life. He's
Hmm.
always caught up in these odd situations
Right.
on the art of peer pressure or whether it's on average Joe off overly dedicated. He's always it's like
Institutionalized. Yeah.
it's always yeah, institute. There you go. It's like a nuisance to him. And then you make a song like Watch the Party Die where you say we need to again, it's like I think people like these PDFs are dying. He's calling for their heads, but then you go and do XYZ. So I think it's the reason why
Yeah.
these accusations seem recent is because it's Kendrick making these moral stands, whether it's on Not Like Us, whether it's in the Harper's
Mm.
Bazaar interview, or whether it's on Watch the Party Die. And I'm saying this as a Kendrick supporter
Right.
who's been listening to Kendrick for a very long time. even though I don't agree with all the critiques people levy, like the Playboy Cardi stuff, it's like water under the bridge to me. My biggest critique
Yeah.
of that is that my biggest critique of that is that stimulus package that he gave Cardi, 3 features, could have just gone to a better artist. I'm not going to
Okay.
pretend like I don't understand why other people would take issue with it. I'm just not going to pretend like I don't understand.
Hmm.
The only pushback that I would give about specifically with the GNX features, and again, you might have like more personal experience and just more general knowledge around these people and their features. I think that, and this is just me fucking spitballing. I don't fucking know Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, no, go
I
ahead.
think that I think that him putting these features of these people that are maybe they're gang members, maybe they're not. You would know more certainly than I would. I think that he just simply believes in trying to give people a shot to get up out of a situation. If these are actually bad people, or maybe they're bad features, or maybe they didn't perform well on the songs, or maybe they're just yapping about wild shit like slide a thumb and we're like I understand why people might not like that. I think that Kendrick Lamar is the type of person, it's my opinion, could be wrong, that just believes in giving people a shot. He believes in redemption. He believes in, if I give this guy a feature that I know is a dangerous individual that is around unsavory people, if I give him a feature and he gets 1 million people, should use a random number, 1 million people that hear him and like how he sounds, then that means that might give them a chance to jumpstart a music career. It doesn't matter how fruitful it's going to be, but it
Hmm.
might take a chance to get out of this situation. And if I can give that to them, then why not? And I think that on a song like Peekaboo, which I personally, you're gonna think is crazy.
You like that song? No, you talk about that song.
Peekaboo,
You like
That's
that.
I
an
fucking
amazing
love
song.
Peekaboo.
I love that song
That's a
too.
10 out of 10 song to me. And
Sure.
it's so funny that like some people, and this is totally fine because like you said, everybody should have an opinion. You can critique stuff you don't like. The beautiful thing about that song is like if he didn't put AZ Chike on that song, I would have never heard that man's name. I would have never heard his music. But because Kendrick gave him that chance, now it's like, oh, what's he doing next? What has he done before? What opportunities can he be afforded because of this fucking silly ass song? And I personally think that's a beautiful thing.
And I
I
agree.
would I'd be cool with more of that.
I agree. When you say you got the ball, Kendrick done gave you the alley oop.
Mhm.
What's next? And this is another one of my issues. I don't want to belabor the point,
Yeah,
but you
we
go
can
and
move
listen
on
to these
after this.
guys' songs. Again, all the everybody here, everybody in the chat. I challenge you. Go listen to them see them features on GNX's solo music.
Mhm.
It's all the same glorification of BS.
So,
Hit a J3 just dropped a song about killing people. Hit a man, pop it to it, pop, pop, pop.
but
The video is so graphic. It's not. It can't even be on YouTube. The video is just him performing a drive by, and the song is about killing people. So my thing is, like you said, I would agree with that, Derapy. I know.
Mhm.
What's next? You got the oop. What's next? But for so many of these features,
that's on them. I
even
mean,
Dodie Six, even for Dodie,
They
um,
you're saying that they
even for
really ain't doing shit. They haven't
just one
done shit.
second. Even
Uh,
for Dodie Six, for whose music I do find some of his music palatable, and
mm,
AZ Chike been listening to him for years. I don't know how much has changed, and I don't know if the opportunity of giving them the opportunity. I would love to be wrong. I would love for them to blossom and become great artists, album artists, and really put the music first. But so far, that's not what I'm seeing, and that's a part of my
mm,
issue with it.
I got you. That makes sense.
yeah. I mean, we can move on. To touch that point, again personally, I just don't think it really matters. Like if Kendrick decides to do a feature, I don't know. I feel like ever since Watch the Party Die or maybe Mr. Morale, people just see him as like he can't. He does a feature with someone, he puts him on. I don't know if whatever that guy ends up doing in his life or like whatever he ends up doing with his career, it's on them. He gave him a shot. He wanted to make a new kind of. I feel like new kind of art, like after the drop, because I feel like ever since the battle, people were like pinning Kendrick back into this, like, oh, this is Mr. Morale guy, he's Mr. Righteous. So he came out and flipped the script on everyone, and he can't speak on all the features and what they do in their life. And I actually thought that was a smart idea. I actually, and this goes again, I guess maybe against your point about the GNX features, I felt that was smart when I saw him do that, and I was like, wow, that's different. You put on these different people nobody ever heard, and you make these kind of these bangers. It's just great. But let's move on real quick. If y'all got time, like I feel like I want to get to the Drake lawsuit, but I also wanted to ask y'all if Kanye West ever battled Drake. If this actually ever happened, if this became a thing, and I really hope it doesn't, and I do not think Kendrick should even, I don't think he should even touch this. Like, what would happen if if
Drake,
literally,
but between Drake and Kanye?
no, Kendrick, if the actual battle broke out between Kendrick and Kanye, if Kanye really took this to the next level and kept on agitating, y'all know the tweets, right? Y'all know the deleted tweet, Mr. Deleting, tweet delete,
Oh, yeah. I know too much. Yeah, yeah.
right? Like turn the TV off. I never liked Kendrick music, not like us, his bad, blah blah blah, and all this kind of, which was crazy. I think we could all. I hope we could all agree. At least I think we could agree. I don't know Top5Troy what his take is, but what would happen if these two had to battle?
It's not even worth entertaining. Kanye West is just begging for attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He dropped the whole like that remix that everyone ignored right in the midst of the battles. We're not even like, bro, you're not even in it. You don't even go here. Go sit back down. Like it's not even a thought even worth entertaining to me.
It's a
Go
funny
ahead.
little like thought exercise, but it's like it's kind of ironic because I'm the same type of guy that's like, I'm so like deadly serious about not putting anybody, not me, not Top Five Troy, not the Needle Drop, not the Company Man, not Kendrick, Kanye, anybody. Don't put anybody on a pedestal. But at the same time, I will say this personally. If Kendrick engaged in a battle with Kanye West, I would lose respect for him immediately. Like I don't care what he's
Like
trying to
for
prove.
Kendrick?
Like giving if yes, Kendrick, if Kendrick Lamar gave Kanye this attention that he's been begging for like a baby, like a 3-year-old in the store that wants candy. Please notice me, Kendrick. Please diss me, please. If Kendrick comes out and actually disses him, I'd be like,
Yeah,
now
I don't know.
somebody might clip me and be like, but you're not gonna stop listening to the music, so who cares? And I'd be like, okay, fair. But I would be shocked if Kendrick engaged in this battle. Yeah, people are saying meet the
Meet
Kardashians,
the
meet the West. It's
That's a
like
good one.
I just like
Meet the
and this is so funny because I was talking to I was just
That's
making
so
this
good.
point at Top Five Troy earlier, where it's like we need to decide what an artist does, and now I'm also sitting here like, man, I swear to God, I'm Kendrick, this Kanye, like I just think that but also I feel that way because we're talking about like something that's impossible. Like that shit is not gonna happen. Flip it.
I
Because
mean,
I might get cooked, but I don't see it.
I think it's possible Kendrick throws a little bar, but
yeah.
the idea of releasing a whole diss track
A
aimed at
track?
Kanye
No.
West,
No, I don't
nah,
see
bro.
him doing
I
that.
think it's possible get a little false prophets, a little jab. Not even because false prophets was a whole verse. Kanye West is big enough to garner attention from Kendrick, but
Mhm.
this isn't like organic. This is
Yeah,
Kanye begging for attention from anyone who will give it to him. My
I can
opinion.
see
Anyone.
that. I can see that. That's the 100%. I guess everyone sees that, and that's why I wouldn't want it to happen. But I mean, I feel like I don't even think Kendrick should give him a bar because I feel like Kanye is the type that if he got a bar, if he literally got one bar from Kendrick, I think he would like go
It's
banana.
all
He'll
he's
drop a
tweeting
diss
about
track.
for a month.
He'll be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Kendrick tried to diss me. Let's go in," and he's gonna write his little.
Because he's going at Kendrick, because Kendrick's the biggest talk of the town. When Cardi dropped his album, he went at Cardi. Like he went at Jewish people. Like Kanye is going, he's trying to keep upping the ante of what can I do to get attention. Clip this. This is my prediction. Kanye West, he's going to go so far off the edge. There's going to be a point to where there's not much else you can do. He's going to fake his own death. I don't think that's out of the question because where you've
Imagine.
already he did the MAGA hat back in 2018 or whatever that was, and he's just now he's doing the Jewish stuff, and now that's not really shockworthy anymore. Iced out swastikas. He's going after popular artists. There's going to be a point to where else do you go?
Yeah.
You've already reached the top. He's going to fake his own death. Facts.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's gonna be so weird, bro. That's so funny. It's gonna be so crazy if God forbid, okay, just a little bit of morbid humor, but it's like Kanye's the type of dude to like actually get whacked and then people think that he faked it. Like I pray that doesn't happen, but like I love how obvious it is that he's just begging for attention. Like when I saw him, I mean, there are tons of there. I was talking about drawing lines earlier. I've been drew the line. I can't listen to this man's music anymore. But when it comes to just drawing the line, is like, okay, he's just not a serious person. He's clearly begging for attention. When I saw him begging Jay-Z to like come end him, I was just like, dude, this is getting pathetic. I'm not gonna lie. It's like to tweet that about Beyonce and Jay-Z's children and then delete it like instantly. But you know that everybody saw it. So then you continue to be like, oh man, Jay-Z probably driving around like, damn, I gotta kill Kanye. And it's like this is
It's insane.
so it's probably the most pathetic display of attention seeking I think I've seen from any celebrity in my lifetime. Like it's really bad. I'm not
100%.
gonna hold you.
Yeah, honestly, I have a hard time with Kanye West, and you know, I don't know. I feel like he gets a pass, or like from I don't know. I don't know how like diehard of Kanye West fans you guys are, and there's someone I know who's like this diehard Kanye West fan, and I don't know where he gets that pass for all this kind of like negative behavior that he's doing, all these antics. Like it just
Because his early music spoke up for us.
I mean, the music's just great. Like
Yeah.
I think that a lot
what
of
do you mean
people
by
are.
this spoke up for us? What do you mean by that?
Oh yeah, please elaborate.
Kanye West's early music was very socio-political. Jesus Walks, speaking out for the common man on spaceships. George Bush don't care about black people. Like when you listen to Kanye West's first three albums, he's really speaking up for us as black people and just the common man. Like he seemed like a very accessible, relatable MC. So a lot of people have those, and he brought back these records from our childhood that our parents and grandparents used to play and put them in soul samples. So now we have the nostalgia listening to these records with our parents, with our grandparents. We love the rapping. They love the Anita Baker sample. So people like Kanye West gets that pass because of what he done earlier in his career.
Yeah, just to
I
kind of
mean,
piggyback off that,
mm,
it's the music is just. I mean, the fact that people are still trying to give him passes is a testament to not only what top five Troy said, but the music is kind of just like, and I use this word very sparingly. It's like objectively great rap music. And I think that's why people, because some people are, and again, I gave you credit for this. We're not gonna start glazing again. Some people don't have the fucking balls to just say, man, I'm not worried about the personal shit. I just like the music. They think they have to justify the behavior in order to listen to
Yep,
the music
yep, yep,
because the music is great.
but
yep,
And I
therapy.
get it. I'm not going to sit
yep.
up here and act like the music's not great. What I'm saying is, like, the shit he's doing is terrible. It's obviously terrible.
Yeah.
But people are like, damn, he like the whole he made graduation meme. That is one of like that's one of the only memes that is like actually based in like 100% truth. There are people that dead ass want to stop listening to it, and they cannot because he was their favorite artist. He made their favorite album, and I promise you, I am the best person to talk about this because Drake made all the stuff that I listened to growing up, and it was really, really, really hard to let that go. So
100%.
I empathize with those people, but if Kanye was my favorite artist, it'd be a little bit easier because I would argue, and we don't have to argue about this specific point unless y'all
Mhm.
really feel like it. The shit that Kanye's doing, way worse than what Drake did and what he's been accused of, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, yes.
So I just think that the TLDR is why do people keep giving him pass? They fucking love the music. People keep trying to like overcomplicate it. They just love the music. They just don't want to stop listening
Well,
to it, and
like
they feel like they have to justify the behavior.
let me challenge you on your point where you said that you actually admire. Excuse me. Now, if someone says, you know what, I really don't care. I just love the music, right? I think you're saying people don't
Hmm.
have the guts to say that. But my
Hmm.
challenge to you is that I actually think, in my opinion, it's the opposite. I actually feel that people don't have the guts anymore to say, you're wrong, you're saying bullshit. And we're not supporting you. I don't care if you make good music. I don't care if you make good art. I don't care if you represent this, that, you claim to represent this, whatever you want to represent. What you're doing is bullshit. We see you. We're not going to support that. That's what I think
Right.
people don't have the guts anymore. They can't stand on that stuff because they'll get canceled. They can't say support this, support that. Watch out, this one's doing wrong. This one's doing. I can't even use the words in my video, unfortunately, right?
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
can't
yeah, yeah.
support that. You say that, then you're canceled. So I feel like, in my opinion, The one with guts is to say, Kanye West, I don't know what you're saying you're representative of, but what you're saying right now, it doesn't show that you're representative of that, because you've talked about this group, this person, I retarded this, and Jewish people and the kids of of Jay-Z or whatever. Why can't someone speak up and say, nah, Kanye's bullshit. Stop. We ain't gonna listen.
I think it takes guts to do both.
And FYI, Top 5 Troy, when I say the people who, and I don't know, the people I was talking to are actually white, who were like diehard fans. Just FYI. I'm not saying there aren't black people diehard fans. I'm just saying who I was talking about, unfortunately, actually white. So I don't even know where does then the support, right? For
I can't speak for them. I can't speak.
No, I feel you. That's what I'm saying. So it's just like, I don't know where the diehard support comes from when it doesn't even reflect you in any type of way. And, so anyway, that's that. I mean, I really was wondering, like,
music doesn't have to reflect you in order for you to appreciate it. I love Rex Orange County's song Sunflower. That song has nothing to do with me. That's fucking like white British kid singing about some white girl that he loves when he was like 16. That shit has nothing to do with me, but I like the music, right? I will unironically bump fucking Ariana Grande or Sabrina Carpenter. These women are not talking about any personal experience that I've had. Music's poppy. It's good. I like it, right? Like Chaperone is not talking. Chaperone is an open lesbian, talks about being a lesbian, how much fun it is. That shit has nothing to do with me. So I think that it's not always people are just like, oh, I can't let go of this because I identify with it. I think it's really just about, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I think it's solely about the quality of the music. If you find quality music in a world full of like, we all know this because we're on YouTube, there is so much like dog shit, terrible content on YouTube that when you find somebody that you really like, you're like, oh, I want to subscribe. I want to become a member. I want to know every single time this person uploads. I'm going to hit the bell for those notifications. So when you are listening to music and you're like, this is the best song I've ever heard, it's hard to push somebody away from that, which is why like I cannot get personally upset with anybody that just doesn't want to let go of the music solely because of the quality of the music. Just because I personally can't do it doesn't mean I'm going to be like, no, I'm going to rip this thing away from you that you love because a bad person made it. It's like I can't do that, and I think it takes bravery to do both things. It takes bravery to openly admit, because people are out here calling me a fucking virtue signaler, which is crazy. As if I don't want to listen to Kanye's music, as if it isn't great. I'm like, dude, I just think he did some crazy shit. I can't stand behind that. But I also think it takes some level of courageousness, because Top 5 Troy, he knows people are hating on him. Like, people are hating on him just because they found out I was talking to him. They just popped in the screen. They were like, oh, I fucking hate this guy. They haven't even talked to the man. So it's like, it does take bravery to
I love it though. I love the spiciness. I ain't gonna lie.
It takes bravery to come out and be like, yeah, I know he's a piece of shit, but I'm gonna listen to the music anyway. Like, do I agree with? He knows people are gonna be like, that motherfucker's crazy.
But what music?
Yeah, it's easier to just go with the. It is easier to just go with popular nomenclature. Like I can say what I say about Kanye. I made a Kanye video. Kanye West is begging for attention. But you think I'm gonna stop listening to College Dropout? I just wore some foams today. I went to Stater Bros and wore some easy foams. So yeah, it definitely takes bravery. I agree with Derapy. From his side, it takes discipline also to stop doing something that you like doing because you drawn that moral line with the person. Me, I don't get into the drawing moral line with artists, musicians, because that's just not something I do. But it does take something in you to do that. But me, I compartmentalize. I'm gonna still enjoy what I enjoy, regardless of what you did. Like I said, I just wore some Yeezys.
That's fair. I have a hard time with it personally, and don't get me wrong. Like, I sound like I stopped listening to every single, but I do have a hard time if I hear like these antics that are extreme. And I think that's kind of what's hard, is like, back to the point, Derapy, where it's like, it's hard for people to boycott, right? Like, it's hard for people, like, if you hear that Starbucks ended up supporting some entity that you feel is whatever, and then people that get together and say, you know what, that could go for any community, like for any, belief or faith. And it's like, no, let's get together and let's not go to Starbucks. And it's just like, that does take discipline. You might be like, nah, I still want to go to Starbucks. And then you got the other side that's like, nah, why are you
I respect people that do that, but like that is where I 100% aligned with
And
Top 5 Troy's thinking. Like, you
I've
think I'm about to do research on every store I go to? You're nuts, dog.
no. You don't have to research. It comes out, bro. It's
Yeah.
big news. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
comes out. Starbucks did
But
such.
the response would be, if you feel so strongly about these moral positions, why aren't you taking, like, just to steal
That's
man the argument? It would be, why, if you feel so strongly to do this
yes.
with this particular person or store, why are you not taking that same care and diligence to do it with everywhere? It's like these people who sit in the middle of the road and protest environmentalism, but they got iPhones. It's like, how far
Yeah.
are you willing to go for this? And this is part of the reason why I don't start drawing these moral lines. But I do agree with what you're saying. Rap
Mhm.
philosophy,
Mhm.
it is difficult to boycott, but I think certain people just have different. This is where things get messy. Certain people have different things that they're going to stand for. Just because you're standing so hard for one certain thing doesn't mean that these people are soft or they don't stand for nothing. They just don't care about what you care about in this situation. So it
Yeah, but
becomes tricky
that's
when
see
you
what you
start
just
making
said.
these
You
moral
just
distinctions.
they don't
Go ahead,
care
Mama.
about what you care about, right? There, you drew the line, right? So that line in the sand gets drawn based on what you end up supporting, right? So, but that's a clear disparity between the two groups, is what I'm saying. That you said like we won't support that because I just don't care about that. So you not, I'm not saying we have to just. It's all hypothetical. Just all hypothetical. So you not
Mhm, mhm.
boycotting Starbucks, right? Says that you're on this other side. To your words, I'm saying based on how you said it.
Not boycotting Starbucks doesn't mean you're on any side. And I think this is where people get confused with how, even in hip hop, this very thing exists in hip hop. Because you aren't speaking up about this thing that I personally care about, you're on that side. No, they just don't feel
Yeah.
as strongly about it as you do. I'm glad you said that,
It,
because we're
yeah.
talking about Starbucks, but this is bleeding over into hip hop currently. Even with what we were talking about with Kendrick and the Cardi, because he's a hypocrite. And well, whether what I feel about that is irrelevant, I just don't care about it as much as you. So that means you're on that side. No, it just means you feel more strongly about this and you're willing to
I
speak up
feel
about
that.
it.
Get it?
And I don't. I don't.
Yeah, this is very much like the you like waffles, so you must hate pancakes thing. Like, and I've been like on the receiving end of a lot of that, between that and the just whataboutism shit is like it's getting a little out of control. Like the way that people feel about red team, blue team, that's how I refer to politics, because it's very like it's basically gangs at this point,
Mhm.
like with all due respect. Like, if you aren't like actively saying that you hate this guy, then you might as well be voting for him. I'm like, I think that's stupid,
Facts. Facts.
personally. But like that bleeding over into hip hop is one of the worst things that's like it's fucking up art and culture, in my opinion. Like,
I
the
100% agree.
one
You
terrible
agree?
thing that's come from the Kendrick and Drake beef being like, oh, you still listen to Drake? Oh, so you're just cool with like touching kids? I'm like, bro, that is a crazy sentence. There is like nobody should think that, bro.
That's
It's
the
like,
thing.
oh, so you like Kendrick, so you're cool with white beaters. I'm like, what the? Come on, man. Like, can we
Yeah.
please be serious, bro? We talking about rap music, so yeah. I think
I mean,
it's a slippery slope.
you put it like that, yeah, it makes it funny. But maybe there's another side that maybe this revived hip hop, y'all. Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe we need some of this like a little emotion in the game, and like to your point, Top 5 Troy, again. I think I've said like I don't, and I know Derapy, you were saying you agree. I feel like this play of I just like the music, kind of thing, and I don't really have a stance on anything about it. I just like the music, so whatever. I don't care. I listen to whatever, which is fine. That's 100%. But I'm just saying maybe this actually adds some more spice to hip hop back to like, maybe what we had before, like in the past, where people are just, because honestly, I don't even, there's nothing out right now. I mean, Playboy Cardi tracks right now are filling the Billboard. No offense to Cardi fans, because we said, the Vamps and the Boogies. Now Kendrick already put us together, but I
Oh,
don't.
I don't care at all. Like, it's a 3 out of 10. You just got to
There's
stand on
10.
what
Yeah,
you
but
think.
there's 10. All right, so you said that, right? There's like 10. I don't know how
Mhm.
they said that all of his songs are on the bill. And I'm like, how are all of Playboy Cardi's songs on the Billboard 100? How is that possible? I'm
Kids,
sorry.
man,
How is that
kids
how?
like what they like.
Those songs are
Yeah,
that good?
I actually think
No,
this type of like emotional discourse sides, I don't think it's good for him. I think it's ruining. I think it's ruining hip hop
Oh, it's
discourse.
okay.
I don't think it's going to eliminate hip hop. Hip hop is too big, but like it's ruined hip hop discourse. Like people are so much on this, like what Derapy was saying, this side A, side B. If you listen to this music, that means you support this. It's bleeding over into our content creation also,
It
like we
is.
mentioned,
It is.
and it's ruining hip hop discourse. Actually, in my opinion,
Really? How so? What do you think about that, Derby? Is it hip hop civil? I feel like the hip hop media, we
Well,
have a civil war now with the hip hop media. It's like it's
I
like
so
sides.
okay, so I do think that and like I mean, I'm not going to act like I haven't profited off of it, but it's not because I'm trying to. That's what's funny about it. There are people that are fans of my show that think that like I personally hate Drake, and I just don't. Like I have outside of that one video, which is gross and terrible, there are people that like I don't know how else to say this, but I haven't seen enough hard evidence to convince me that Drake is like legitimately a serial predator, right? Like, but there are some people that believe if you listen to his music, then basically you're saying not only do you think that he is that, but you're actually okay with it. And I think that's crazy. Like I said earlier, I'm in the car with my friend earlier. She puts on Nokia, and I'm not looking at her sideways. I just make a joke about how, oh man, my audience would hate to see me listening to Nokia right now. But like, just because I don't want to listen to the music and I have Drake blocked on Spotify doesn't mean I'm gonna go to war with other people that are listening to the music. And I think that's the important distinction to make. You can stand on something and you can be vocal about it and you can fire off takes like Top Five Troy and I do. But I think when you get into the business of trying to like dictate how other people move, I cannot, I won't go there. Like I will say, this is how I feel about people that do this, but I'm never gonna be like, don't do this. Don't hang out with people that do this. If if we're talking about like listening to music, like we cannot get into like a, this is life or death thing because then we're gonna get to a point where it's like every single rap battle is just like every single election. This haven't y'all noticed every 4 years, this is the most important election of our lives? Vote for your life every year. And it's crazy because every time the wrong person wins, I still keep living. It's crazy. It's crazy how that shit keeps happening. I don't want rap to turn into that. I really don't. If Kendrick and Drake run back around too, like the idea that like this is the battle for the soul of music. I'm like, I mean, it matters. It's fun and it's good that hip hop has a competitive spirit. But this whole like, you know, it feels like gang shit. It's gross. Like it's getting like it's violent. People are talking about pulling up on each other, come outside and fight me over these fucking chart ratings. Like, what are y'all talking about? Like, enjoy your music. I'll enjoy my music. Like, it's Top Five Troy. I don't think he's trying to be hyperbolic when he says like it's destroying hip hop discourse. They're trying to. We're not going to let it. But there are some people that are trying.
it's been very harmful. It's been very harmful to discourse. At least on my channels and my social media, it's very harmful to discourse.
I think I feel like in one sense, I think there's like a disconnect a little bit with because like right now, right? We'd say like some of us just said like we were Drake fans or whatever, and like I have like right in the chat, right? Like Nikki Lewis, happy birthday, Nikki! By the way, it's her birthday. She's out on the chat, and a lot of people in my chat, and in the past too, in my chat in the past, they're just like, nah, you know what? We were actually never Drake fans. And I feel like there is also like this other side where I think a lot of us are disconnected from, where there are people out there that were never Drake fans or were never Kanye West fans or didn't like such and such, and we're taking everything now like as if, oh, do people now hate Drake because of Kendrick? That's wrong, and we should. Nah, they hated Drake before. Actually, I think
Yeah,
they just hated
some people
Drake
have always
before.
hated them, and they will never let you like not hear about it. Those people are very vocal. You know who all those people are.
And I feel like it's a fair thing though. I feel like it's a thing that a lot of people are ignoring, where it's like we're putting everything on Kendrick, but it's kind of like maybe Kendrick just brought out something that was kind of already there, like in the community, where and I've gotten it here right in the chat many times. Even I said when I was going over the Drake lawsuit, I think a couple of weeks ago when it first dropped, and I was like, y'all, don't y'all think? I mean, I don't know about y'all, but Kendrick is just being facetious, or he's when he calls him a certified lover boy, certified PDF. He plays with the words. Is it singular? Is it plural? Is he really talking about Baca? Is he talking about the group? And people are just like, nah, I actually think I think it's Drake. People say, nah, it's Drake. That's what he does. I was like, okay, I took it as all kind of fun and games, in a way. And my own community just doesn't think so. And I feel like, maybe we are disconnected with the culture, like what's happening. People do have these feelings, they do have these thoughts. It isn't
I
it
think it's
isn't
important to
you
make
feel.
it's important to make the distinction. Like the rap battle mattered. It mattered a lot. It was the biggest rap battle of our lifetime. And I think that when we talk about like what hip hop actually is, what rap actually is, I do think that there is some benefit to Kendrick exposing Drake in a way, if for nothing else than him just being better at rapping than Drake. I think that there is some benefit to some guy being like, I'm the best rapper, I'm the best rapper, I'm the best rapper, and then getting in a battle and getting absolutely obliterated. I think that there is some benefit to the overall hip hop community, black culture community. There is some benefit to that, but I think that there are levels to it, and some people want to take it to an even greater level than just hip hop, black culture. Some people want to take it like literally outside. Some people think that it's life or death. Some people talk about a culture vulture as if they're like a actual menace to society. And I'm like, okay, you can say that this is bad and it's unhealthy for this genre, but it also doesn't have to be somebody that needs to be put in jail. Like for example, and Top 5 Troy, I know you've heard shit about this already, and I've already seen people in the chat talk about it earlier. What's the Dirt is a guy, white dude that has a YouTube channel and he's talking about hip hop, right? Now, he's done some stuff that I think is insane. People hate, whatever. I have a pretty strong stance on that. But I think that some people there's always a small set of people, and it's a small minority that's extremely loud that'll say, this guy is what is wrong with hip hop? This guy's destroying their culture. He's ruining everything. And I'm just like, or he's just has really bad PR. He says really stupid things and he's getting called out for it. Maybe it's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
And the consumer will always be like the final say, you know? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how any individual person feels, but like when you put up a YouTube video or when you put out a song or when they nominate people for awards, if your name doesn't get called, people don't show up to watch the video, people don't stream the song. Ice Spice, people are like, Ice Spice is what's wrong with rap. That shit worked itself out. It's just a matter of time. So I just think that, some people want to be the sole person that's responsible for, saving the industry. And I'm like, y'all don't, I think sometimes people are a little bit smarter than we give them credit for. Like, I think a lot of times it's okay to just let stuff play out, get your takes off, make your stance, and then, leave it at that instead of being like, we're at war. We're at war for the soul. And I'm like, all right, bro.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
a lot of
log off.
hyperbole. A lot of
Yeah,
hyperbole
go outside. Go outside.
on the song. When did Kendrick say, "Yo, the audience not dumb"? Like on Not Like Us,
Yeah,
he said that. My thing is like,
yeah.
or are they though? Are we sure? Are we sure the audience not dumb? Like, are we
Hey,
really
sometimes
sure?
I don't know. Sometimes I don't know.
Because it's like you said, it's like with the hyperbole. It's one thing to say a guy said some silly stuff, but then to advance it, like, well, he's racist, he's a cultural, he's going to destroy modern Western society. It's like, come on,
Mhm.
guys, relax.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I guess I have a little bit of a different take. I kind of like it. I like kind of what's going on. I'll let it happen. I think Kendrick brought a lot of things. The battle, he brought like a lot of even older people back into like people who were like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like just older people just like back into hip hop because I feel like he just revived a lot of stuff. So that's the part that I'll give him credit for. But to transition, like in terms of like the Drake lawsuit, right? Everything that's going on there. I don't know if y'all are aware of everything. Where do you think, like, everyone knows, just summarize, right? Like Drake is suing UMG for
I read everything.
right.
I read
Everyone
the
knows
entire
everything,
suit
right?
and the dismissal.
And
Yeah.
the discovery and all this kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
he wants Kendrick's contracts. He wants everything, blah, blah, blah. He wants this, he wants that. So I think this week there's going to be another document that'll come out that'll say whether or not this case will be dismissed or not. Or something's going to come out pretty soon to at least do we know whether it's going to be dismissed or not. But where does this, like, from your guys' opinion, like what happens with this? Like, where does this end up going? Like, what's the end result of this?
I would say hopefully Drake is not successful in his lawsuit. There are just certain things, certain lawsuits in hip hop history that have negatively affected the sport, the art form as a whole. I think if he is successful, this may make people a little bit more hesitant to do diss records, which is something that's a diss
Crazy.
record is something that's native to hip hop. It's like fighting
Mm.
in hockey. You don't see, you're not allowed to fight in any other sport but hockey. The refs sanction it. And then this is kind of like this special thing we have in hip hop. And I've likened it in the past to Lord Finesse suing Mac Miller over using the hip to the game beat on the song Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza. And I liken this to that because mixtapes, rapping over others' beats, it kind of fell off after that. There are a couple reasons that you could point to, but that Lord Finesse lawsuit, which was successful, where he sued Mac Miller, well, this is when Mac Miller was still alive,
That's a little different, though, right? Like,
over. Well, I'm not saying they're the same. I'm
he
saying
sued him
they're
for what? What do you
yeah
say?
he sued Mac Miller for rapping over his beat essentially on this on the mixtape Kids. The song is called Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza. It's a hip to the
Mhm.
beat. So that lawsuit kind of took away one of like the things that we hold dear in hip hop, which is mixtapes. And I think if Drake is successful in his lawsuit, which I don't think he'll be, but hypothetically, if he is, this will affect diss songs in the same in a similar way, where this is something that we hold dear that could be adjudicated out of existence.
I think that the hockey game is a perfect analogy because it's like, what is hockey without the fights? What is NASCAR? With all due respect, without the cars bumping into each other, without the crashes. It's literally the equivalent of you getting into a hockey fight, which happens all the time, and then suing because they hit you too hard.
Yeah,
As if
assault,
like
right?
that isn't just yeah, like you're suing for assault. Like, damn, they weren't supposed to beat me down that bad. It's like, bro, y'all were both fighting.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna go into like a whole thing about the lawsuit. Like, I just find it embarrassing, and it's just like every time I have that 1% of me, that like little itch, like, what if I would I ever listen to Drake again? Then just another week passes and he just does some more embarrassing shit. So
Yeah.
I frankly, I truly feel bad for Drake fans. I sympathize with them because it's so hard to have this stuff come out every week, every few weeks, stuff with the tour, stuff with the dismissal, stuff with the UMG's dissing him now. UMG's dissing him harder than Kendrick, and he gives content creators like myself, just another easy bag to dunk on them. And it's just like, you can stop this at any point, You could
Yeah.
just make your own music. You could just go on your tour. You could just look within to your own fan base and continue to make hundreds of millions of dollars and try to put out more classic music. But instead, all he wants to do is continue to be a sore loser. And I think even if he wins anything, it's just not going to change the outcome. Like, he lost. He lost the battle. It was very clear that two things happened, three things, if we're being honest. Pop out show, plays it back to back 5 times, wins 5 Grammys, wop, 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 wop. Super Bowl, say Drake straight into the camera. No, you are never going to bounce back from this. It doesn't matter what you do. When it comes to Drake and Kendrick, it's over, son. Just
Even,
move on.
even though
But
Nokia videos
I
coming out
cannot
Friday.
fathom. No one cares,
We'll
but his
see.
fans do. His fans do. And that's what matters. That's what he needs to focus on. Look, your own fan base, hype those people up. And I hate making this analogy because a lot of other people do. And again, it's bringing politics into rap music. But Drake needs to treat his career now the way that Trump treats politics. I'm going to piss everybody else off, but I don't care about them. I just need to make sure that my people like me enough to continue to support me. If Drake just focuses on Drake fans and not Kendrick or anything else or public perception, he'll have a perfectly fine career. And I would love for one day him to get on SNL and joke about how he would never sue, and then he looks knowingly into the camera and makes a joke about it. That's the best thing that he can do. But this never ending, just swinging on any and everybody on the periphery of the beef that's not Kendrick. Like, it's pathetic. It's sad, and I
Mhm.
really wish it would end, but it's easy money. So
Yeah, I think Drake could have saved a lot of face by just taking the L,
what the
taking
hell?
some time off,
100%.
and coming back and being like, "Yo, it was a good battle. Dude
100%.
got me. I tried my best, and boom, we move on." I think
That's it.
even when the lawsuit was initially announced, I think he could have saved face still by just withdrawing it and being like, yo, I was tripping, whatever is over. But yeah, I agree with parts of what Derapy said. Like this is going, the reason why this is still a hot topic is because of actions Drake is taking. Like he's doing stuff that's keeping this in the news. So people will continue to talk about it. And it's just going to be this scar that never goes away. I do disagree with Therapy when you said that he can't bounce back. I think Drake can bounce back, but
No, he can. He just focused on the
I
wrong
don't
shit.
think
Yeah.
anything he's going to do is going to change the outcome of that battle. I think
Mhm.
he'll bounce back. I think he'll get his next number one hit, surpass Michael Jackson. But nothing you do is going to change the outcome of that battle. It's over.
Correct. Mhm.
Yeah.
It's over.
To me, like this, the lawsuit, obviously we talk about it a lot, and it, I take it pretty seriously because like I've been reading the documents, like actually reading like every page. And I know Derek, I think you've done some of that in your videos, and like
I did it on a live stream. It was very lucrative. Yeah.
this is like a serious, it's like a serious case. Like I don't know, like, I'm gonna see if it gets dismissed or not, but like I really am curious like where this ends up going because one, is it going to go to trial? Like that's even the first thing, because just it going to trial is just really going to open up new things. Like, are we really going to say that Kendrick or UMG was defaming and they acted in malice for like publishing Not Like Us? And like you said, if that ends up going anywhere, it's a big deal for hip hop. Like that is like to me massive in hip hop. Like Kendrick Lamar, because he was in a rap battle, he said a couple of words. He didn't get sued, but we all get the idea that through UMG,
Yeah.
Drake is trying to put a stop. I think the reason why this is important to me is that Top 5 Troy, like you said, and I agree with you, that if Drake just brushed his shoulders off, just got back in, just did Drake again, and even non-Drake fans would have been fine. Drake fans would be fine. It's no problem. But he's getting revenge. This is like he's trying to get revenge on Kendrick in some way by asking for the contracts. And I don't know if this goes somewhere, even just a discovery. If he gets the discovery, which they're still deciding like whether they're going to allow it to go through or not, but we don't know yet. Like I don't even think it'll get there. I don't think it'll get there. I don't think he'll get that document, but it's just, I don't know.
It's
It's
going to be a
crazy.
terrible look for Drake if it gets that far, because basically, if they get to discovery, then UMG on behalf of Kendrick have to basically prove why what Kendrick said was actually okay, which is going to make Drake look horrible. They already started doing that. I mean, just by simply bringing up Drake's own lyrics, like in Taylor Made Freestyle, where he's like, talk about him liking young girls, and Kendrick talks about him liking young girls. It's like, why
Yeah.
would you do that? It's like we're already seeing like the seeds of like what is going to, which could. It's so funny because a lot of Kendrick fans kind of, maybe naively think that Kendrick ruined Drake's career. I mean, he's ruined his life for a short period of time, but he could bounce back if this doesn't go to trial. Like, my hot take is that if we go to trial and everything comes out in discovery and we go through this whole process, that could actually ruin Drake's career. Like, that could actually be the end of him, because then it'll be on full display and in legal
Yeah.
documents historically why everybody was saying all these things about Drake. Like, we just got like a little bit of a tease, a little bit of a tester. But if Drake wants to continue to roll around in the mud, like, I think he's just under the impression
Mm-hmm.
that there's this, I don't know what the phrase of the terminology is, but it's like when you get to, let's say, $500 million, then you start to think that like somebody that has $800 million, that's not, I mean, we're both rich, who cares? But Drake doesn't understand, in my opinion, that there are levels to this. He thinks that he's big enough and he has enough money and resources to go to war with a entity like UMG, but he actually doesn't. Like, it's very clear by the initial lawsuit versus the motion to dismiss who has the upper hand, whose lawyers are fucking cooking. It's very obvious. It's very obvious who has the advantage. Drake is under the impression, because he probably has yes men around him. He has a bunch of supporters, a bunch of people that love him. It's like if Drake had a wife and kids, he wouldn't be doing this shit. It's really as simple as that. But like
Yeah.
he's just still in this mode of like, I'm Mark Grayson. I'm invincible. You can't touch me. Like, you can't bring me down. I'm too big to fail. And we're seeing it happen in real time, low key with Kanye West. It's a little more of a slow burn. Like, more and
Mhm.
more people are starting to. But Kanye is in the same position. He thinks he's too big to fail. And I think if this goes all the way to trial, if it all plays out, whether Drake wins or not, which, let's be real, like, why would he? it's just gonna look terrible for him. It's gonna be so bad. I mean, it would be great for content, but it could be career ending for him.
I think it looks better if I think it's worse if he wins because now you've really
Yeah, I agree.
potentially affected hip hop.
I
So
think
I
it's
think
worse
Yeah.
it's
if he
like I
wins.
think Drake is like suffering from sunk cost fallacy. Like he is
Hmm.
so already invested in this. Like he's already taken the arrows for even putting out the initial petition and then going forward with it. He's already invested so much that it's like, how do I turn back away from this? I
Right.
can't. So let's just go all the way through with it. And yeah, hopefully he's not successful. I don't think he'll be successful with this lawsuit. But yeah, I think if he actually wins, it's worse. But I don't think I even don't think if this goes to trial, I don't think that this ruins Drake's career. I've just seen Drake be too big of a star despite so many things. I don't even think that this going to trial would end his career.
Mm.
Like
Right.
people love Drake, man.
No, no,
But
no.
to my
There's a
dismay,
loyal to the end. Yeah.
people love this guy. Like,
We have Google R
and
in the
I'm
chat.
someone who
Nokia
saw all
Friday.
these
Stop teasing me.
accusations, all these accusations that Kendrick made during the beef. I'm someone who saw these come out in real time when they were actually coming out, and nothing changed. So I think there will be bad press on him for a while, but I
Mhm.
don't think this ends. Only Drake can end his own career.
I
Mm.
But
well,
I think messing with someone like UMG,
yeah.
you're taking it to a level where
Yeah.
you
I
guys get
think
what I'm hitting at. That
100
could also
Yeah.
oh
end your career.
100%. 100%. But I think that Drake really is taking a hit. You know, and I think you could look at that based on the charts, right? I think like I know you're saying it won't end his career, and I think a lot of people say that. I get it. I get the take. You know, like Drake will be Drake. He could still drop music. He'll have his core fan base. You know, I don't know how much money he'll really lose, but guy probably has like a lot of money. But his aura, his position in the culture, like at least as of hip hop or in music in general, I think is taking a hit. And because we have how many Playboy Cardi tracks we have on the Billboard charts, and we have a Drake album. What do we got? Nokia is the only one on the charts right now, or
Where's Nokia? Is that like top 10, top 20 right now? Where is that in
I
the
think it
charts?
dropped since
I think that's the only one that's doing numbers.
it's up.
Okay.
It's I think it's still up. We could look at it, but my point is without it, whether or not like what its position is, the point is that no, I'll actually find out. But the point is that you know what I mean, like
I was
how
about to look at it. No, what's so funny is I was about to look it up and then I realized I don't give a fuck where Nokia
yeah,
is.
it's like whatever, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't really matter. But ultimately, what I'm saying is like we have 30 gazillion thousand Playboy Cardi tracks on the friggin' Billboard 100 charts. Like I'm not trying to diss Playboy Cardi. I'm not trying, but you know, he has his fan base. We missed that topic, but we'll skip that for whether we like Playboy Cardi's music. But my point is 30 tracks on the Billboard 100. Drake dropped
Too
his
much.
26 song album. Cardi's was 30 songs. 26 songs, and I think only Nokia Give Me Hugging Now is all the way down, moving down. Nokia's the only one there. So that's what I mean by he is getting affected. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
his
he's definitely affected. I don't think it'll end his career though. Definitely a bad season for him. He's definitely hurting from it. But again, I'm just someone who's, despite everything that's come out about him over the years, from the ghostwriting to the weird stuff with the women, which came out years ago. Like we were looking at this when Georgia Smith dropped her album. We were looking at this way back when. The Pusha T stuff. Like I've just seen this guy, again, to my dismay, come back so heavily.
Just persevere regardless.
Yeah. So I agree with you though, rap philosophy. It is hurting him. We can't deny that.
yeah.
But in this career,
Well, so like on the Billboard charts, number 1, Luther, 2, Playboy Cardi, 3, a Lady Gaga song, 4, a Playboy Cardi, 5, some other artists out there, Chappelle, Roan, Shabuzi. Number 7, Billie Eilish. Number 8, Kendrick, Not Like Us. Number 9,
Boozy been on that chart for like a year straight.
still
Who
moving.
the fuck is still listening to Shabuzi?
It's
Jesus.
crazy. So Nokia is number 11. Yeah. So, and I feel like Nokia, we got some Nokia Friday in the chat, but when he drops a music video, that one Nokia song will maybe get a little bump, but that's all the man got right now. That's all the
That's
man
all he
got.
got. It's crazy to drop that many tracks and literally only one sticks. Like that is not the as somebody that followed Drake throughout like the majority of his career. Like I started listening to Drake the best I ever had, like 2009, 2010. Like
Mhm.
every time he dropped an album, multiple like three, four,
Of
five, six,
course.
seven songs would stay in
Yeah.
top 10 for weeks at a time. And the fact that like Nokia is the only one that sticks. And the last time I listened to Drake for an extended period of time was obviously, for content purposes. And I was I was trying to get through some silly songs for you on a live show. And Nokia, again, honestly, was truly, as somebody that is more critical of Drake than ever, was the only song that I liked. So I think it's a good song. It's fun, but the fact that you threw all that stuff at the wall and literally one thing stuck, that's just not a good sign of things to come. We will really know though when Drake drops his
On his
next,
solo album.
yeah,
Yeah.
his solo album.
Mhm.
That's when we'll know how much damage has truly been done. So I'm looking forward to that, just as a person that's genuinely curious, not just as a content creator, but just as somebody that's been following this story. Like obviously, it goes without saying these fans are going to gas it up. They always do. But I'm curious to see what more like objective people
Mhm.
see
Yeah.
from them.
Yeah, I haven't listened to a full Drake solo album since Dark Lane demo tapes in 2020, but I'm going to be
That's
here
still
for
pretty recent.
that next Drake 2020. I mean, I don't listen to his stuff. Like
No,
I've
no, I know,
gone
I
five.
know.
When was the last time you listened to it?
A
I
while
actually,
ago, dog. 2020 wasn't that long ago. Like everything that's like
I think me
pre-pandemic
was like
feels like
2015.
forever ago.
If it's not my
Oh
brother,
damn.
hit me up. I swear, my brother. I'm not gonna lie. He's a fan. If it's not my brother, yo, listen, he's always been a Drake. This is what it is. And see, this is the thing. This is the thing that people are right when they say, I think Drake fans are not really hip hop fans. Like my brother, I love him to death. He's not really a hip hop fan. Like, but he's a rap. Like he likes Drake's music. And if it's not him, hit me up. Like, yo, check out Drake. But for me, on a personal level, like, probably 2015 Drake, 2016. I don't know, whatever the last one was. I haven't kept up,
Views
but
2016. Yeah.
yeah, but like you gotta check into the music. Like, obviously when you dropped For All the
Yeah,
Dogs, it was a thing, and I tapped in a little bit. But I personally am not like gravitating to like a Drake album to listen to it. You know what I mean? It's more
yeah.
for
Last time I listened was Dark Lane demo tapes, and at that point I was just like, I'm just not going to continue to listen to his music, knowing I'm not going to like it. I've just
Yeah,
never
that shit
been
was
a fan of
boring.
his,
Like as a
never been a
fan,
fan of his music
like it
like
came out, I
that.
was like, this isn't even good.
I listened to the SSS for You album. I really Nokia was the only song on there that to me really sounded like a single, sounded like it could be
yeah,
radio friendly. Anyways, it didn't even sound like they made that album to be that type of album with a bunch of hit records on it.
right. That's a good point.
Like the only song that sounded like it could be like that was Nokia.
Well,
So
it's
I mean,
it's it's also funny.
I guess that's giving him some leeway, some rope a little bit. But the next Drake album, it's been 5 years. The next Drake album, solo one, I gotta hear what he's got to say. I'm definitely listening to that one. Gotta hear it.
Sure, he's actually
Just
gonna have
needed
more
to
eyes.
not be a bunch of subs and
If
stuff.
it
Like
if it bombs, it's worse for him because he actually is going to have the most attention on him on the next album. That's a solo album. So that's going to be a big deal because everyone wants. I want to hear.
this is gonna be the most pressure that's ever been on Drake for an album to like not just have hits, but like have quality rap songs. Like
You don't think he's gonna
if he
bomb?
just decide uh I mean
I think he's gonna be a hit. I think he's moving like 300K plus week one. And I think he passes
But that
Michael
doesn't.
Jackson. I
It's
think he
not
gets his
about
number
that
one.
though. It's about is it good
it's never about the
music?
first week really. Like the first week, it's like I don't know if you've seen his top five, Troy, but these Drake fans, they have these communities, they have these discords, they have these like Twitter spaces where they all talk about where to go buy, how to go buy, or like how you can listen to it on multiple different devices and all. These people, these humans, I don't know any of them personally because it could never be me, grown ass man. But are going out of there with like they're playing shit while they sleep. They're playing shit on like on their kids' iPads in the middle of the night while their kids not looking. They got other tabs open. The first week numbers are not going to tell the story with Drake. Like his fan
The
base is
story
too
of what?
crazy of the success of the album.
If the album is a hit or not.
Like
Well, if the first week sales tells the story of success for the label, I mean that's a big deal for the label. First week sales, so someone is going to mean something. I
who's
just
the
want
label or is he even going to release another? Like these questions are so like presumptuous. Like he's even going to have a label to distribute the shit. Like he's even going to have the relationships that he had before that's able to push it. But I
so
guess
you
that
don't
is
think
also part of the conversation.
so you don't think he's going to you don't think a record label is going to fund Drake's album? You don't think there's
Well,
any record label that
of course they will. But like it's just like it's kind of hard to even imagine the backing that he's going to get after like putting entities like Spotify in the lawsuit. Like Spotify was working against me, and it's funny because ironically they still put his face all over shit when he dropped. So, that's a
If
little
there's money to be made, the corporations really don't have any ethics. If there's money to be made, they're going to get behind it. I just want to y'all,
true.
do y'all think he's going to bomb? Because I don't think he's going to bomb. I think he's going to do 300K first week, and I honestly think he's going to get his next number one. Because, like you said, there's so much pressure. Dude
What?
knows how to
Yeah.
mix a hit.
We'll
He's
see.
going to, bro.
We'll
He's going
see.
to be dialed in. That's why I'm excited to hear it.
Is he gonna be dialed in?
I think, bro, like
He was
look how
supposed to be
much
dialed in with the hard part
pressure's
six.
on. You don't think he's going to be dialed in?
He was supposed to dial in after Not Like Us. He was supposed to dial in after Not Like Us.
The hard part six, he wasn't dialed. Drake created a situation with the whole timing. Like you got to drop records quickly that he could not keep up with. So that's why the hard part six
Mm,
sound rushed. Like he created a situation where we got to keep dropping back and forth, and he just didn't
right.
have good songs. He couldn't keep up with the pace. This
I
is
feel you.
different from him sitting and having all these months to come up with an album. He knows it's got to be good. He knows the rap's got to be good, and he knows he needs a hit record. He already got one with Party Next Door on an
Yeah.
album where it seems they wasn't even trying to do that. So I don't think he's gonna bomb. I think the next one's gonna be heavy.
I do have this weird thought. Like, I don't think it. I listen. Who knows? I do have this like weird like fantasy where I'm like, imagine if Drake actually drops like some good music or something like what you're questioning, right? I don't think so,
Imagine.
but I'm just like, damn, what if it's actually good or something? You know what I mean? It's like it'll be weird.
Hey, I'm not gonna pretend. I'm not gonna listen to some stuff that's bumping and act like it's not bumping. If it's banging, I'm gonna listen to it.
but see,
I ain't
I would
listened to
never do
Drake
that.
since 2020 because I just don't think the music is that good. There's no
Right.
reason for me to even check. But if his next album is good, despite everything I've said about him, never really liking his music, you don't think I'm gonna praise that?
We'll see, man. I mean, I don't even. I
It
wasn't
would
even
it would
thinking
it would
from a.
definitely be a change of pace.
I wasn't even thinking from like a banger perspective. I was thinking if like he actually drops some good raps or something like in there, and it like hits, or like what's whatever. Like I think Drake needs to tell some stories, man. He just needs to. I don't know, but I'm not giving credit. I don't think it's gonna do anything. I just think Drake is who he is, and I don't think he fits the mold of what I think I'm looking for. But we'll see. And I get you, Top 5 Troy. I agree with your point that maybe you think it's going to be good. I think it should be good. I mean, if it better be good, if you know what I mean, he's on this pedestal right now, and all eyes on him. But I think he'll still be Drake in the end. I think it's gonna happen, but I guess time will tell.
So what about you, Derapy? You think it's gonna bomb? You think his next album, his solo?
Oh, you're on the
I mean,
spot.
I just have no reason to believe that it's going to be quality music, which is all I care about. Like, I just like when it comes to a lot of people like to determine the success of something by like how it charts or how many people listen to it. And I just think that I haven't I put out this episode where because my YouTube really just popped off like in the past calendar year. I'm open about that. And way back in like 2021, 22, it's like I made this episode with my brother talking about Certified Lover Boy. And even then, I was like, I love Drake and this shit sucks. And ever since Certified Lover Boy, I was like, I kept expecting him to make good music, and it just wasn't. Like something's off. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just like he's putting out these 20-track albums. I like four of them, and I'm just like, that's weird. That's not normal. That's a bad shooting night. So it's just like I have no reason to believe he's gonna put out quality music because, like we talked about a little bit earlier, in some of my dying days as a Drake fan, I'm like literally like begging, please let this response to Not Like Us be the most dialed in you've ever been. And on the flip side, it was the worst shit I ever heard. So why would I think that now he's gonna all of a sudden lock in? When I heard a song like Give Me a Hug, which to this day I have PTSD from, it's just an abominable song. It shocks me that it's the second most popular song, but I think it's because of like memes and shit. And maybe I'm just outgrowing it. And I think, but like Give Me a Hug, he's putting out songs like that. I'm like, you're not serious. And when I was listening on the live to some silly songs for you, the number one reoccurring comment I kept seeing is like, this isn't even sexy. When does it get sexy? I thought this was supposed to be sexy. I'm like, bro's making an album with sexy in the title. Can't even make sexy songs. And I like some of the Drake old joints, like sensual tracks, like Passion Fruit, one of my favorite songs ever. But like he doesn't have that in him anymore. Like I just don't believe that he does. So do I expect it to be good? No. Am I going to listen to it because it's my job? Of course. But
We'll see.
there's a very good
We'll
chance
see.
that I'm gonna listen to it and I'll be like, yep, this is about what I expected, and then I will once again later, dude. You know, that's all I got.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be highly anticipated
It will
for
be.
sure.
And the thing is, like, to your point, top five Troy, I think in the end, like, he does have a fan base. You know what I mean? I think like the crazy, just like Playboy Cardi, right? Like Cardi's fan base, they don't give a damn. Like whether I like rock with Cardi or not, like he has crazy fans. And I think Drake has that core audience. Like and my brothers will like my brother will hit me. Like I think there's some people who will just like, yo, that Drake, you hear that? That's you heard Nokia? Yo, that's a banger. And it's just like they're like overly hyped over it for like no reason at all. You know, there's gonna be that core. But I'm saying, just from a straight musical perspective, is this shit gonna hit? Not like the fan base. Is this gonna be a hit the way like GNX affected the Kendrick fans and came out to the non-Kendrick fan and he did the Super Bowl? I mean, it surpassed his own fan base. And that's what I'm asking. Like, is Drake capable of that right now?
No. And I would argue that Kendrick, I'll say this as resident Kendrick Glazer allegedly. People wanted to make GNX this big cultural moment, like one of the better albums ever, but like honest Kendrick Lamar fans will be like GNX is it's not touching Tip of a Butterfly. It's not touching Good Kid, Mad City. It's not touching Mr. Around the Big Steppers. Like it's not, there are great songs on there.
They
There
ain't
are like
touching Section
incredibly great
80.
moments. It's that's a hot one.
This is
I
a
don't
whole
know how I
video,
feel about
y'all. We
that.
can't start this.
But like basically all I'm saying is like GNX has like a couple songs on there, Reincarnated, Whacked Out Murals has a couple shots in there. It's like there are really great moments. Luther, obviously, really great
Hard
moments.
Part
10 out of 10
6.
songs in my opinion. Yeah, the real Heart Part 6. There, there are moments that are great, but as an album, as a collection of songs, I'm just like, I'd still rather go back and listen to T-Pab, to be honest.
I got a
I'd still
second
rather
to
go back and listen to
last.
Good
I
Kid,
got a
Mad City.
second to last in his discography. But like Rap Philosophy said, that's a whole different conversation.
That's a big
Yeah.
conversation. I'm
And like
almost
that's really not that's not even a crazy take. It's not a crazy
I'm really
take.
interested in this actually, you know, and it's getting late, but honestly, like you open that up and it really is like a big conversation. Because when you said that, I actually thought about it and I was like, I don't know if I agree with that. I think GNX was as a Kendrick, and that's fine. Everyone has their own opinion. It's like Kendrick makes albums where it's hard to compare them against. Right? Everyone tried to compare. I don't think anything can compare to Pimp a Butterfly. There's no way like you could put GNX to that. That doesn't mean GNX wasn't as great. I just think it's hard to just put it next to it and say which one's better. Like, can you do that? You know what I mean? Like to Pimp a
Yeah.
Butterfly.
GNX ain't better than Overly Dedicated.
No, that's a crazy take.
Overly Dedicated got like 3 or 4 of Kendrick's best songs.
I like Overly Dedicated. I love
Ignorance is Bliss, Average Joe. These is like some of Kendrick's best songs.
I actually think Overly Dedicated is better than Section 80, but I
overlooked.
I don't, and people don't agree with me on that. People love Section 80 better, but like GNX, come on, like that now you're being crazy. Like, nah, GNX is better.
It's a great sign that you're really just competing with yourself.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because even though I say it's second to last, it's not a bad. None of his albums are bad. So that's how great his discography is.
To me,
people love in these like YouTube community posts and these polls or whatever. If you put all these albums up against each other, y'all have seen this. We're all on YouTube. Whichever song is the last, people are like, "Yo, sleeping on it. Y'all are hating. It's so overhated. It's hated for no reason. Y'all don't understand." It's just like, okay, well, tell me what is better then, and then they can't. So people don't want to admit that there's a best and worst of everything. Like I put out 10 episodes in the last month or whatever. There is a worst episode. Like even more than what YouTube says. Like I listen back to it. I know this wasn't my best episode. Like it's okay to say that this is not a rapper's best work, and it's really fascinating to me when people I respect it. I understand it. As a consumer of art, you love what you love. But it's kind of crazy to me when if you say something like GNX is probably his worst album, people be like and it's like because it's new,
so
it feels illegal to say that.
No, it doesn't mean I hate it. Just ranking it
exactly.
Exactly.
GNX to me has one of Kendrick's best songs ever out of his whole discography. Which one's that?
What you gonna say? Reincarnated. Yeah,
one of his best tracks in his whole discography, in my opinion, humble opinion. I could be wrong. So it's hard for me to take seriously that GNX doesn't stand next to other ones. And you tell me what compares with Reincarnated from creativity perspective. Maybe sing about me
Yeah,
in times thirst.
we don't have that much time.
We don't.
He has a lot of songs that are on that
Derapy like
level.
I
I'm not
gotta
gonna lie.
go. Derapy like I gotta go. I'm down to have a
No,
conversation.
no, no,
Derapy like I'm
no.
up out of
I'm
here.
just saying, I did a 3 hour super cut of To Pimp a Butterfly. Like I could put like 3 or 4 songs on there if I get reincarnated. Like I covered all of Good Kid, Mad City, like one, two, three songs at a time. Like I'm reincarnated is a great song, but to say it's like, oh,
Listen,
this is
listen
him at
to it
his
again.
peak.
You didn't
I'm
listen
just
to it,
like,
Therapy.
Opposites attract off overly dedicated. That's a great conceptual song. We hurt people that love us, love people that hurt us. I mean,
You put that with reincarnated?
yeah, as a conceptual Kendrick song, yes. Yeah.
look, rap
I'm
philosophy. I'm gonna let you into my Discord. It's normally only for paying members, but we've been yapping it up. So I'm gonna let you in there, and I'm gonna at everybody, and I'm gonna be like, name 5 songs better than Reincarnated.
oh
And you have
shit.
fucking 30 people. They're gonna
Oh
drop 10
shit.
songs on you in
Mama,
about 5 minutes,
Oh
and then you'll know. Oh,
damn.
I do love this song, but maybe he does have a lot more great songs. Like,
I
sing
mean,
about me.
well, you know what's funny is that just says so much about Kendrick. The fact that people can just name random songs that are better than other ones. It's just like, well, what does that say about
The
the artist?
only song that you can't do that with, that you can't just be like, I can think of 5, but it's like Sing About Me,
Sing about me.
obviously,
Yep.
like Duckworth.
Mhm.
No, I'm trying to think of one off good
I said Keisha's
Fear,
song.
There's
Fear
so
is one
many.
of those you can't just like get like there is at least there's probably only there's less than 5 songs where you could be like, oh, I could think of plenty that are on that level. There aren't that many because there are so
But
many great
listen
ones.
to it
So,
again and try to actually figure out what the heck is like going on. Anyway, obviously it's
I
opinionated.
all right,
Oh,
you're
we
exposing
love the
yourself because
song.
I promise you, I had to write a script to explain it for my people, for the nerds. So trust me, I listened to it a lot. I wrote literally like just sitting here typing, trying to. I'm on Genius. I'm looking up theories. I promise I listen to it. I'm a
Man
religious
was
person.
deep
I love
in
me some
Reddit,
Jesus.
in
Trust
them
me.
Reddit threads, deep.
I was deep.
All
I
right.
was almost in my cave of
Damn.
what's the dirt, dog. I promise you, I've been nowhere.
Where's my fans that love reincarnated, man? I hate this. I can never get reincarnated. Just doesn't get the love it needs, man. I don't know what
Bro,
it
we
is.
It's a
love
great song.
reincarnated. Yeah, we don't hate it.
See, you just did the same shit we
Same thing
talking
we're
about.
talking about,
No,
right?
but I admitted that I believed in that. I believe in passion in the music. I said that. But gentlemen, I don't want to keep y'all. Listen, this has been like incredible. I feel like I told y'all like 10 and then we went to like 11. So I thank y'all for like staying here and arguing and debating. and anything else y'all want to say before we
Yo, am I as bad as people say?
Man, all I know is my
Derapy, am
comments
I
are
as
like
bad as
You're completely you're a reasonable person. I think that, I think that because you are more harsh and definitive about what you say, that you're an easy person to pick on. You're an easy person to take out of context and clown on. But if you're, I believe in like this is the reason why, even though a lot of people hate Joe Rogan and there's good reason to hate him, I think that shows like his are really important because there's no gimmicks, there's no clickbait.
yes, you are.
Every title of Joe Rogan's
What?
episodes are just
Top
the
five.
person's name, and it's just a conversation. Now, like, I think what we did here is extremely important, and I wish more of it happened. Like, everybody that I know that I'm cool with on YouTube fucking hates What's the Dirt, right? And I'm not saying that they don't have a good reason to, because he does some crazy shit. But if they actually sat down and talked to him, who knows? We don't, because we're only getting what's on YouTube. We're only getting edited stuff. So to answer your question, no, you're not nearly as bad as it. And honestly, coming into this, like he told me, by the way, rap philosophy, crazy thing to do, to be like, yeah, I'm gonna bring top 5 Troy in here. I'm like, what? Like, I'm not saying that like that's bad because he's bad. I'm just saying in general, I'm like, I'm getting jumped by a person that I just remembered I made a specific piece of silly content about, but you handled that well.
I didn't even see
Top
the
five Troy.
video.
You didn't even see the
Is
video. You
no
didn't
hard,
even
no
know,
hard feel. I
which is
didn't know.
awesome.
Like
And you're never
it's
gonna
all
hear
good.
it because it really doesn't matter. And it's like if you had made content about me, like joking on me, I'd be like, I mean, I've said a lot of silly shit. I'm a funny person with crazy takes. So I think that it's important to have these conversations. I'm gonna go back and get jumped in my Discord. People be like, "Oh, so you
Can't
like top
believe you
five Troy
posted
now?"
him. Yo, about to turn on you, man. They gonna
Mm.
turn on
And
you.
and
I'm just
like, and my thing is like, with all due respect, like I don't care. Like you're just a human being with different opinions, and as you can see, as anybody here can see, we agreed on a lot. So what are we even talking about? You know?
Yeah, chat. This is how you respectfully disagree.
Well,
More of this, please.
respectfully, we disagree. I am glad we did this, and I'll be honest, I don't know if I agree totally, Derapy, with everything you said, but I do think that some people are like have taken certain stands and said certain things that are like kind of crazy. I don't like to get into it. I don't. That's people's beefs. I don't really like to get into it. I watch. I see what's happening, and if I say nah, that was crazy, I'm not messing with that, or I don't like it, whatever. You know that's everyone has to decide that, and I'm not here to judge anyone. I'm just here to say what I would support and what I don't. But I am glad that we did this. And honestly, Top 5 Troy, I didn't even know this stuff was going on. I saw like you had made a video. I was like, wait a second, because I'm, these are my heroes, like Curtis King and Company Man, and these people are incredible on YouTube. And I don't even know what's going on. I didn't know that there was something or anything happening or something like that between. And hopefully there isn't, But
A lot of people talk about me, man. Me and Company Man is always cool, but a lot of people talk about me, man. It just is what it is.
it is what it is. Yeah, all right. Well, hopefully we, this laid out to people what your thoughts are on things, and I think people know you have like your takes are maybe could be against the grain or whatever, and it is what it is, But other than that, I'm glad, gentlemen. Thank you so much, Derapy. Thank you for having me, and I'll take you up on that.
Wait. Can I ask one more question because people in the chat are saying that that we like might have intentionally missed this or whatever, as
What?
if it's my fucking show or something.
What?
Top 5 Troy, what's your opinion on and or your relationship with what's the dirt?
Oh
Do you have an
no,
opinion on this
y'all gotta
human
do
being?
this.
Look, look. I'm gonna say something. It's gonna be short. I'm gonna say something that's gonna
before
a
you
lot of
Please.
people.
before
Right?
you continue, just because it's my show, not respect like my
Go
fan
ahead.
base.
Go ahead.
I really don't like. I'm not into that drama. My intention was not like I know all that crazy drama. I don't like it. We keep it like brief. Y'all gotta we gotta do another show.
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna be quick. Because we
Yeah.
don't want to put this
Yeah,
mess and
absolutely.
rap.
I'm just curious.
He's got nothing to do with this. But I'm gonna say something that's gonna shock a lot of people
Okay.
because it's gonna go against the things that you. I don't know if people are purposely trying to mislead their audience, but this is gonna shock a lot of people. Are you ready? I'm about as cool with what's the dirt as I am with the Company Man. I have their numbers. We've spoke on the phone before. They go live. I super chat. They leave comments in my videos. I leave comments on theirs. but I heard. Check your source because you heard wrong.
Maybe that's the
Okay.
Derapy. You have any
I
other
think
questions about
somebody lying.
Maybe that's the problem, though. I think that's.
No,
I think what you just said
I don't
is what people might not like, right? Isn't that the idea that they feel that you're connected? It was, you know what I mean?
Sitting, yeah, but it's two men's beef, grown man's beef. That's got nothing to do with me.
Not the beef. Has
Not
something to do-
everybody
I'm
has
cool
to
with-
inherit each other's beef.
Not inheriting the beef.
I'm
It's not.
cool with both.
It's not inheriting the beef. It's what you stand on.
What do you mean? My stance is
you're saying
I'm not
I don't
getting
wanna-
involved in it. I stand on it.
What's that?
My stance is I'm not getting involved in it, and I didn't, and I stand on that.
Yeah, no, I feel you, but like,
Call it fence
Yeah.
sitting if you want. That's my stance.
I mean that's fine. For the record, because I know people are curious, and then obviously we're gonna get the fuck out of here. My stance is that what's the dirt has given me no reason to think that he's like decent. So just in case anybody's curious, like it's not my responsibility to go out of my way to like make nice with people or whatever. Like even if it wasn't my responsibility to come on here and make nice with Top 5 Troy, but we're just we're just out here working. We're just out here yapping. The fact that we happen to get along is good, and I'm glad.
Mhm.
But I think the most important thing we can all do is just simply be honest. He's like, I know these dudes. I got their numbers. Cool. I'm like, I think Maddie knows Beard Magoo's weird. That's just my opinion. I don't know him like that. It's fine. They're just words. They're just words.
yeah.
We're just people online. So it's
Look, rap philosophy. Go ahead, push back. I know you want to push back. Go ahead.
No,
Say the words.
I really, I don't want to offend anyone or anything like that. It's just like obviously I have my own opinions, but like you said, I don't like. I stayed away from all that stuff, and I wasn't really interested in to get involved. But I have my opinions and thoughts, but I don't really want to like share or offend anyone about what I think. I mean, what I've seen, I have my thoughts on what happened. I just don't think it's, it's important for me to like get involved in that sense, unless you know what I mean. Because I'm not, you know what I mean. Like, but
yeah, no, you really should.
Same.
But I
Hey,
do
same
have an
with me.
opinion as to what is right and what's wrong. I'm not saying I don't want to get involved with that stuff just because I feel like it's unnecessary on YouTube for me personally. But I do have an opinion about what's right and what's wrong. You know, what I saw is wrong. But that's not the topic, right, of discussion. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like,
Hey,
does that make
the
sense?
way you feel it's the way you feel it's unnecessary, you not getting involved. I feel the same. It's none
100%.
of my business. None of my
100%.
business.
Derapy started the little drop. Derapy threw in the little time bombs. Listen, before we go. But listen, I guess people
I mean,
want to.
no, well, I mean, I'm just receptive to feedback, and I just didn't want people to think that we were
You
ducking
was
anything
ducking
because
it.
that's
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah. You
because
got a
that's
That's
responsibility
just
to your
fair.
audience. I
yeah.
hear you.
I mean, that's just
That's
not how I
fair.
move. Like, like I
Yeah,
could be on anybody's show. Like, I'm not just gonna be like, well, I don't want to stir up anything. So, like, because I don't like, I don't say this as a catchphrase. It's just because like I legitimately mean it. Like, I don't fear shit but God. Like, we're online. Like all there's a separation between what's real and what's just like comes with the work. And I just feel like, I'm just simply not afraid to talk about anything or anyone because
That's fair.
y'all don't actually know me like that. Like, it's just not that crazy to
That's
get
fair.
into. So I respect where you're coming from with like, I don't want to get involved with drama or beef. But in my mind, there is literally not a single thing that could be said on this show that's going to affect me in real life. So it doesn't matter.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You low key the homie, Derapy. What the heck? Okay,
See
okay.
how y'all
Huh.
got together through this? Like, and the first thing that like, when I posted this, my fans were questioning like you top five. Like I saw in some of the comments, like I said, there's stuff I'm not aware of. I didn't even know that there was something happening. Like I'm just not tapped into what everything's going on. People were questioning like, wait, top five doesn't he have a take on this and that and crazy takes? And I was like, thinking, I don't know, do you? And I was like, but you already invited to the show. I'm not gonna tell you, yo, we can't talk. No, we got to talk. And I think you clarified, as much as you can. We didn't get into obviously the other stuff that's going on, all the details, but um, and I think you clarified. I guess this now, if we're gonna ask a question, like there's no issues, right, with Company Man and Curtis King and stuff like that. Like there's no issues there.
Company man, absolutely not. Curtis King. I mean, again, like other people talked about my channel, talk about things I say. I saw a video like with two random people today before I went on live with Ricky Dredd, like talking about my channel. Company man, me and Company man has always been cool. Curtis King, I'm not sure what his issue is. He talked about me. He said he has no personal issues, so that's what we're going with. Shout out to Company man. Shout out to Curtis King. Shout out What's the Dirt. Shout out Ricky Dredd. Shout out the Derapy, Rap Philosophy. Shout out everybody.
I like it. Well, shout out to everyone. And hopefully we all take away from this, that we do gotta be like have these conversations, but we do need to stand on something, in my opinion, and we gotta say what that is, and it is what it is. I mean, you mentioned what you stand on, and you shout out to everyone, and that's what it is. Therapy. Any last words from your side? First of all, I appreciate y'all. Y'all hit the like button in the chat. I hope y'all enjoyed this. And Therapy, tell me what you think.
Yeah. Yeah, my last thoughts are just like anybody that's tapped in, like I feel this way about any show that I do. It is a Wednesday night, it's a school
Woo.
night, it's a work night. And if you choose to be here over anywhere else, you could be at a movie, you could be on a date, you could be doing anything. The fact that you chose to be here with us is wild. So I
And
appreciate it. And of course, like the video. And if you, oh, I'm sorry. Like the video. If you have problems with anything that like I said or Top Five Troy said or even Rap Philosophy said, like, feedback's a gift. It is what it is. But I just don't want y'all to think that like anybody's ducking anything or anybody's afraid to address anything because we're all just human beings with opinions and you listen to whatever music you want, consume whatever content you want. Let your vote be your ears and your eyes and your clicks. That's all I got. I appreciate it. I love you, Appen. I could do this forever. So.
all right, thank y'all. Appreciate it. So to everyone in the chat, have a good night. Thank y'all. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna end the stream of and thank y'all. Appreciate it. Peace out, everyone.